Hi everyone. Good evening, everyone. So, how many people are there? Good evening to everyone. This is a continued class of our tax invoice credit and debit note. And we already had our first session, and this is a continued part. So, everyone there, shall we proceed? Last time I had wonderful audience giving me perfect answers, and I hope you people have revised, right? We had a topic invoice. I explained you different type of invoices, and we did bill of supply also, we did refund voucher also, we did payment voucher also, we did receipt voucher also. Did everyone revised? See, I'm waiting for your response. Remember, we'll be starting from e-invoice today. We also did the time period within which we need to issue the invoice. We did HSN, we did bill of supply, invoice come bill of supply, right? When the registered person supply taxable as well as exempted goods. Refund voucher, receipt voucher. Hi everyone. So with this, today we'll be doing e-invoicing. So whatever is left, I'll complete the chapter, and then same as the last day, we'll have a rapid fire round where I know you people will give me quick answers, and I'll be very happy. So it's e-invoicing. Last time when we were doing, I told you a tax invoice. A tax invoice can be issued physically. We can call it manually, as well as it could be issued electronically, right? And if it is electronically issued, then we called it, in fact, electronically issued, but we upload it on portal. Then we get an invoice, which is known as e-invoice. So today we'll be doing e-invoice, right? Shall I start with e-invoice? So our topic today is first e-invoice. E-invoice is not generation of invoice by the government portal. Please remember, e-invoice is issued by the supplier on its own software. That means it doesn't means I'll update the data on the government portal and the portal will give me invoice. It's not like that. Rather, it's authentication of my issued invoice by the government department. Then taxpayer will continue to create their GST invoice. See, I told you the same thing. The taxpayer will continue to create their GST invoices on their own accounting, billing, and ERP systems. E-invoicing is not generation of the invoice by invoice registration portal. There is a portal on GST which is known as invoice registration portal. Once you issue a invoice, in some cases, not in every case, in some cases, you have certain mandatory fields which has to be uploaded on IRP. And once they are uploaded, they are authenticated by the department, then these department issue you a e-invoice. Then e-invoicing is an electronic invoicing system under which taxpayer must upload all B2B invoices on the IRP, and the IRP will electronically authenticate. Remember, under e-invoice, I'll make a invoice the way I make, but if I am doing a transaction which is B2B in nature, that means I have, yeah, which is in B2B in nature, then in that case, I'll upload the data on the IRP portal. They'll authenticate and then they'll return me the invoice. Then, when e-invoice is to be issued, when the data on IRP portal has to be updated only in case of B2B invoices and invoice issued for the purpose of export. When it is a B2B transaction. Second, when issued in the case of export. Bulk uploading of invoice to IRP is also possible. See, it is your wish. You can have one invoice at a time, uh, updating the, or the second one, you can have bulk updation, yeah, bulk reporting of invoices on the portal. CBIC has clarified that there is no requirement to carry the physical copy of the tax invoice in case where e-invoice has been generated by the supplier. That means, uh, you people are there in the class, but are you, can you people write me a chat so can I can see them? Uh, Everyone, technical team, the chat, there are students in my class, but the chat is not apparent. No, no, yeah. All my last class students are there in the class. Yes, now, but I can see it like Navneet is there. Hi everyone. Everyone who there in my class, can we have a hi? Can we have just Navneet? I can see you. Hello, visible, but it's like hi, now I can see everyone. So now it makes a sense. We have not a one-way communication, rather, we all people can see each other. So welcome. And what we were discussing, hi Shamli, Adil, Anil. So let me explain it once and then we'll proceed. Right? I was discussing about e-invoicing. Okay, I have a question for you people. Did you people revise whatever we did? Yes or no? Good. So perfect, perfect. You people revised whatever we did. Okay. So now in today's class, perfect. Okay, okay, Anil, I'll be answering. First of all, let's make sure what we are going to study today. We'll be doing e-invoicing first, and then we have a topic left with delivery challan. We'll do that, and the third one we'll do debit note, and the fourth one we'll do credit note. These are the main agenda of our class today. And when we talk about e-invoicing, I'll explain, and then we'll sum up, and then we'll go ahead. See, I'm a supplier, I'm a registered supplier, I'm issuing an invoice, but in case of B2B transaction, which is business to business transaction, and in case of export, right? I need to, once I have issued my invoice, there are certain fields which I have to update on IRP portal so that IRP portal will authenticate. I have a question from Anil. Ma'am, what is the purpose behind uploading the invoice on IRP portal? See, Anil, you get authenticated. Payal ma'am is telling, Payal ma'am have sold certain goods to Anil. So my GSTN will be there with the department as well as your GSTN will there be department. Department have the complete record of both of us. For me, in terms of my outward supply, and for you, in terms of your inward supply. And automatically, if e-way bill to be required, it will generate e-way bill also. So Anil, did you understood what is the purpose of issuing the e-invoice? Yeah, Divya. Dia, we'll be doing what is IRP portal. That I'll be taking up. Of course, I have not because I cannot see your chats now. So it was becoming like one-to-one class. Now I'm happy. Okay, now Ashlesha, is it compulsory for all? No, beta, it's not compulsory for all. There are certain categories of people who need to issue e-invoice or who have to make e-invoice, and the category is if your turnover exceed 5 cr, right, which is 5 crore, then you have to, that we'll be doing it, right? So I'll ask a question. The matter written on this page is, yeah, we are going to do it. The matter written on this page is clear to you all? That perfect now? You can issue e-invoice in case of two cases, which is B2B transaction, and in case of export it is not required that you upload the data of your invoice on IRP portal 111. You can upload it bulk also, and once a e-invoice is generated, need not to carry the physical invoice, right? Now, e-invoicing, whatever the question is, now we'll answer the e-invoice process. What is the process of e-invoicing? Invoicing Invoice has to be issued by the taxpayer by using his accounting software. Of course, I'll issue my invoice the way I am issuing my invoice. Then the taxpayer must upload all the B2B invoice on the IRP information or intimating the IRP that invoice has been issued to the buyer by registering the invoice on IRP as per e-invoicing schema. Now I have a question that, ma'am, what is IRP? Let's understand what is IRP. There it is. IRP is a website. See, I have answer for everything. Yes, perfect, Adil. It is Invoice Registration Portal. IRP is a website for uploading and reporting of invoices and by notified person. Okay, can anyone tell me notified person means I'm a registered person, but my turnover exceeded 5 CR in any of the preceding, yeah, in any of the financial year from 1718. So that we means by notified person. So did you people got? Ma'am, invoice uploaded on IRP portal will be auto-populated in GSTR1 perfectly. For me, it will be automatically uploaded in GSTR1, and for the buyer, that is for the recipient, in GSTR2A, right? So this is what is IRP. I need to upload the detail of my invoice on IRP. We'll come back now. After this, okay, now I have uploaded the data on IRP. After this, IRP will authenticate the invoice. Of course, it will check, is Payal ma'am GSTN correct? Yes. Is Anil's GSTN correct? And will return the e-invoice, and I'll get back that e-invoice authenticated with unique invoice reference number. So the department will put a 64-digit number which is unique for every bill, and this is known as unique invoice reference number. Adding a QR code and digitally signing the invoice. So that means when a e-invoice is issued, there are certain things which are there on it, and the certain things are, you have unique invoice reference number, you have a QR code, and a digital signature. So if a MCQ is there, what all mandatory things are there on the e-invoice? Can you answer? Can you answer? There are three things. You will have an invoice reference number, you will have a QR code, and you will have a digital signature. Did everyone got it? Perfect? Perfect. Now we'll proceed. A GST e-invoice will be valid only when a valid IRN is there. If we don't have a IRN on e-invoice, then that means it's not authenticated and it is not valid. Now, the supplier shall share the e-invoice with the receiver. Now, I'll share that e-invoice to Anil. Then, the information is transferred in real time from IRP to GST portal and the e-way bill portal. See, now what e-invoicing benefit us is, for me, my GSTR1 will be updated. For Anil, that is the receiver, GSTR2A will be uploaded, yeah, updated. And if e-way requirement is there, e-way bill requirement is there, it will also be generated. In GSTR1 of the supplier and GSTR2A of the receiver will get updated automatically. Then presently, invoices, credit note, debit note, when issued by notified person. Again, what do we mean by notified person? Again, is a registered. Okay, I'll answer. You people just tell me two. T for true, F for false. Is the registered person is a notified person? Is the registered person perfect? False. No, registered person is not a notified person. You need to exceed with the turnover, which is 5 CR. Perfect. Perfect. Now, to registered person B2B or for the purpose of export are covered under e-invoice. We already discussed for two transactions, it's required to have e-invoice. The first one is in B2B transaction and the second one is in case of export. Now, concept of e-invoice schema. Okay, I'll ask you people first and then we'll proceed with it. I want to upload certain information because I feel those are necessary. Whereas Adil want to upload some other information because he feels that those are important. Whereas Shamli want to upload certain other information because she feel those are important. Is that okay? Or we need a standard form? Just think about. Is that okay? I am filling whatever I want goes contradictory, but of course those goes yes. So we need a standard form key. Yes, these are the certain information which has to be uploaded on IRP, and that standard form is known as e-invoice schema, and that standard form is known as e-invoice schema. Now we'll understand. See, it's a uniform standard format. Okay, and the standard format is known as GST INV1. That standard form is known as GST INV1. Then, containing mandatory specified field to be reported in electronic format to IRP and applicable for all businesses across the country. It doesn't matter what kind of business you people are doing. If you are a notified person, you have to fulfill all the mandatory fields which are mentioned in GST INV1 as per e-invoice schema. Did you people understood? Did you people understood? Okay. It means take prescribed field for yes. Ashlesha, perfect. Now, next concept. Concept of e-invoice schema. We've already done through diagram, but still, for some of the MCQs, I have more of information. This is a uniform standard format containing specified field applicable for all the business across the country is known as e-invoice schema. It is notified as Form GST INV1 e-invoice schema mandate. What particular shall be reported in electronic format to IRP? Invoices detail in prescribed scheme to be reported to IRP in everyone. That's an MCQ in JSON format. And what is the full form? JavaScript Object Notation. What is the full form? JavaScript object notation. Why do we use JSON? JSON can be understood as a common language for systems machine to communicate between each other and exchange data. See, my software will communicate the software of IRP. So we need a machine language, and that language is known as fill in the blanks. And that language is known as JSON. Perfect. Which is JavaScript Object Notation. Okay. Now, concept of IRP we've already done, right? Now we have Right, perfect. Now we have invoice reference number. Do you people remember? When I'll use e-invoice schema, I'll update the mandatory information of my invoice, which is required. And once my authentication is done, I'll have a IRN. Do you people remember? I'll be getting a IRN, invoice reference number. I told you people also, it's 64 digit. How many digit? Perfect. 64 digit. Now we'll have a base information about it. It's a unique reference number. Perfect. Generated and returned by IRP. Okay. Can somebody answer me? See, I'm asking you true or false. I know it becomes difficult to write. So just T or F. My IRN generated IRP. True or false? My IRN generated IRP. False. Rather, it has to be different. False. Yes, this is what you people have to take care of. My portal, invoice registration portal, have generated IRN. Perfect. That means you people are attentive. Ma'am, this is wrong. Rather, it has to be in the reversal. Perfect. Now we have on successful registration of e-invoice, GST invoice will be valid only with a valid IRN. We did also. If we do not have the valid IRN, then the e-invoice is not valid. Now, mandatory requirement of e-invoicing. I told you, you have to be registered. But registered person is not a notified person. There is one more criteria, and the criteria was ATO of more than 5 crore. And in any of the financial year since 1718, if you fulfill this criteria, then you have to generate a e-invoice. E-invoice, debit note, credit note shall be prepared by every registered person by uploading information on invoice registration portal in form GST INV01. Okay, let me ask one thing. There will be n number of notified registered person. Yeah, notified person, true or false? In India, there will be n number of notified person. True? True? Okay. My next question. Everyone will be uploading all B2B and export transaction? True or false? Everyone will be, because it is mandatory right now. Why no need? Why false? Why false? Nine, there will be n number. Nowadays 5 crore is beta. I am talking about notified person only. Nowadays 5 crore is not a very big number. It is easily achievable. Now tell me, if there is only one website or if there is only one link where you can upload, it become cumbersome now. Tell me, if there is only one place, there is one engine where you can upload the data, it becomes difficult now. So just remember, there are 10. See, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I ask you in an MCQ, you can answer now. There are 10 portal. Perfect. Now, exemption from e-invoice. Yeah, I have told you the reason also, because there might be a lot of bulk uploading, because there are so many transactions going on which specify these criterias, right? I need you people that it should be by heart. It's very important. Exemption 10 portal sites. Very good. Now we have exemption from e-invoicing. In this cases, you need not to issue a e-invoice. What is insurance company, a banking company, or a financial institution, including NBFC? Can anybody tell me? In the last class, we have something special for these people in terms of invoice. No, no, Navneet. Yes, yes, I got the answer, Navneet. Even if you are notified, then also you need not to, right? Yes, that means you people have a revision. Perfect. For GTA also, e-invoicing is not required. Passenger transportation also. Everyone remember, na beta? GTA means goods. Don't get perfect. Don't get confused, right? And admission to exhibition of cinematography film in multiplex screens, then a government department, a local authority, a special economic zone unit. I am telling you, it is very important. See, a sales developer are not exempted from issuing e-invoice. I'm telling you, e-invoicing have been exempted only for special economic zone units. But if you are a SaaS developer, then this exemption is not applicable. Now, note, exemption from generating of e-invoice is for the entity as a whole, and it is not restricted by the nature of supply being made by the said entry. Pulling these under exempt list, ma'am, please tell me the reason of pulling these under exempt list. Perfect. This is Anil. Anil, these entities have n number of transaction, and for them uploading a e-invoice is not very easy, right? That's why we have exempted that. So this is the reason, Anil. Then we have perfect. Then we have Ashlesha, says developer. Beta, you would have done in DT 10A, right? Do you people remember? So that is what a person who developed says also get the exemption, whereas a person who's working in a SAYS, that is a unit in a SAYS, also get exemption under DT. But when it is a terms of what e-invoicing, it is for only SAYS unit. It is not for the SAYS developer. This is what the point is. Then we have issuing e-invoice. Issuing e-invoice is not voluntary. Registered person can issue e-invoice only when the threshold limit of ATO exceed the limit prescribed. Okay, I'll ask you, can we have a voluntary registration? Can we have a voluntary registration? Beta, we can have a voluntary registration under section 25, subsection 3. Right now, but under e-invoicing it's not possible until and unless you do not cross the threshold limit of 5 cr, the ATO of 5 cr. You cannot upload a e-invoice, you cannot have a e-invoice, right? Now, import of goods or service, usually student get confused that in case of import also, do we have to issue a e-invoice? The answer is no. In case of import, e-invoices is not applicable. Input service distributor, though ISD is at final level, but still. Perfect, perfect. Then we have, since ISD is at final level, but we can have an MCQ. So I have mentioned, if I'm an input service distributor, then also for me, issuing a e-invoice is not. Yes, Adil, perfect. For export it is yes, and for import it is no. I need a perfect answer, right? So now the questions. First, illustration. A banking company providing banking services may also be involved in making supply of some goods, including bullion. The said banking company is exempted. I'm reading the answer, though I need you people to answer. Hanji, if I'm a banking company, whether I'm giving you a financial transaction or I'm selling you certain product, both the cases, I need not to issue a e-invoice, since for banking, e-invoicing is exempted, right? Perfect. See, we had a point here now. Just remember, exemption from generating of invoices for the entity as a whole, and it is not restricted by the nature of supply being made by the said entity. Did you people understood this line with the example? Did you understood? Perfect. So this line had example. Perfect. Now illustration. Another one. Maharaja Private Limited and sales unit and a regular DTA unit. Hanji, what do we mean by DTA? Domestic. What do we mean by DTA? Domestic tariff area. We call it domestic tariff area. In Jaipur, yeah, in any place of yours, yes, tariff area. There might be some sales. So the sales unit is a sales, but the rest of the area is known as DTA, domestic tariff area. Both having the same pen, perfect. The aggregate turnover of Maharaja Private Limited is more than 5 crore. Okay, it is under the e-invoicing ambit, considering both GST and however, turnover of DTA unit is 2 crore for the prescribed financial year. In this scenario, you people answer. That's the answer written below. I won't. Perfect, Adil. Since sales is specifically exempted, in case of transaction undertaken under sales, I need not to issue a e-invoice, but for DTA, I need to issue a, yes, perfect. I need to issue a e-invoice because we consider aggregate turnover and that exceed 5 CR. Perfect. Another illustration, you people to answer. RTP's example it is Fashion Queen Limited, registered under GST and dealing in baby product, have an aggregate turnover of 5.1 CR in the preceding financial year. Perfect. The tax consultant of Fashion Queen Limited advise it has to issue e-invoice mandatorily. However, Fashion Queen Limited is of the view that since ATO is less than the threshold limit applicable for the e-invoice, it's not required to issue e-invoice. Tell me, is the contention perfect, right or wrong? It's wrong now. Since the threshold limit exceeds 5 crore, you need to issue a e-invoice, right? Perfect, mandatory. Now, Ministry of Commerce and Information Technology, a government department. Do I need to read it more or you people get it? I'm a government department. E-invoicing is not required. Yes, it's been exempted. Understood both the questions, everyone? In fact, the 4 question related to invoice. Perfect, perfect. Now, solutions, I'm not reading it. Now, exemption from e-invoicing. Do you people remember the last class we had? I told you sometimes there are internet connectivity is not there. Do you people remember? Sometimes they're like war like situation. Yes. So I told you in that case you have to give a declaration. So there the same thing. That time also we did. This is the second time we are doing. Provided that the commissioner may exempt a person or a class of registered person from issuance of e-invoice under this sub rule for a specified period, not for every day or for every time, for a specified period, subject to such condition and restriction as may be prescribed in the said notification. However, a declaration as below, though mandatory, but e-invoice is not required to be issued, should be made. But you need to write a declaration. We hereby declare that. Though our ATO in the preceding financial year from 1718 onward is more than the ATO of Rule 48.4, which is 5 CR, we are not required to prepare a e-invoice. One example can be breakdown of internet connectivity, where the commissioner can grant exemption. Did you people understood? In the notification, Adil, it will be given that for so and so period, the exemption will be given due to such and such reason, right? Okay, can I ask you a question? Who had the power to give this exemption? Who have a power to give this? Perfect. Perfect. Okay, requirement of e-invoicing. Okay, if a person has to issue e-invoice but has not issued e-invoice, then the invoice issued by such person shall not be treated as an invoice. Yes, I was required to issue a e-invoice, but I did not issue the e-invoice. Rather, I give you a simple invoice. Then this is not treated as invoice, right? This is not the invoice which is mentioned. Then the provision of 3 copy in case of supply of good, 2 copy in case of supply of service is not applicable in e-invoice. Perfect. Perfect. We had now in case of goods 3 copies. Original is for the, tell me. Yes, yes, original one. I only need the recipient. Perfect, perfect. That is not required here. Now, advantage of e-invoicing: auto reporting of invoices into GST return and auto generation of e-way bill that we have already done. Then in B2B invoices, e-way bill can be auto generated using e-invoice data. That is okay. That was there in the above also. GSTR1 can be auto populated with e-invoice data and it becomes a part of business process of the taxpayer. Consequently, there will be a substantial reduction in the transcription error as the same data gets reported to tax department as well as to the buyer to prepare his inward supply register. On receipt of information through GST system, buyer can do reconciliation with the purchase order. But of course, if machines are involved, they'll not have any kind of error. If I have reported sales of lakh rupees, then Navneet will have a purchase of lakh rupees, which has been authenticated by department. So this will avoid transcription errors. Then thus, it will facilitate standardization and interoperability, leading to reduction of dispute among the transaction parties, improve payment cycle, reduction of processing cost, thereby greatly improving overall business efficiency. But of course, we won't have a fight related to the wrong posting. Further, since a complete trial of B2B invoice is available with the department, it will enable the system level matching of input tax credit and output tax, thereby reducing the tax evasion. The tax department will have real time information both about the supplier also and about the recipient also. Last but not the least, e-invoice will eliminate the fake invoices. Now I can't issue a fake invoice. Claiming fictitious ITC by raising fake invoices is also one of the biggest challenge currently faced by the tax authority. So elimination of fake invoices will also be done. Now, cancellation or amendment of reported invoice. Let me explain it first and then we'll do it. I issue an invoice to Adil and it is a B2B transaction. My aggregate turnover in any of the preceding financial year from 17-18 exceeded 5 CR. So I was under a mandatory term to issue a e-invoice. I issued a e-invoice, right? I issued a e-invoice, but due to some reason, our contract could not be concluded. We had certain issues and the contract was cancelled. So the question is, can I cancel the e-invoice? The answer is yes. The e-invoice could be cancelled, but within a specified time. But within a specified time, like within 24 hours, right? So a seller can cancel IRN for an e-invoice by reporting it to IRP within specified time. Then amendment of e-invoice already uploaded on IRP will only be done on GST portal. Amendment of invoice is not possible through IRP. Please remember, if I need to cancel, I have to cancel my e-invoice within 24 hours. After that, I can't cancel it. But if I need to amend it, for amendment, I have to go to GST portal. On IRP, amendment is not possible. Did everyone get it? Did everyone get it? Perfect. If there is a MCQ, you people are able to get it? Perfect. Perfect. Then e-invoicing in special cases. Now we are doing e-invoicing in special cases. RCM 9.3. If invoice is issued by the notified person for which he is liable to GST on RCM, then e-invoicing is applicable. Do you people remember the last topic we had in the last class? It was the same only. If I am the recipient and I am registered and I am liable to pay tax under RCM, I'll issue a payment voucher. Do you people remember? I'll issue a payment voucher. Right. Okay, now tell me, this is a question to you people. My supplier is unregistered. My supplier is unregistered. I'll issue What will I issue? Perfect, Dia. I'll issue a invoice. Now tell me, my financial year, yeah, my aggregate turnover was exceeding 5 CR in the in the previous financial year. Now tell me, what will I issue? A e-invoice or a invoice? Perfect. You people got it, Pooja. Perfect. I'll be issuing e-invoice. See the example? A taxpayer, say firm. Perfect. A taxpayer, say firm of advocates. Okay. Having aggregate turnover in a financial year of more than 5 CR is supplying service to a company who will be discharging the tax liability as recipient under reverse charge mechanism. Such invoice has to be reported by the such taxpayer since he is a notified person on IRP. Then the another example, okay, when it is 9.4, tell me, the supplier can be registered. Tell me. Under 9.4, under 9.4, it's a constructor, it's a developer. There, the supplier is always unregistered. Yes. If the specified category of supplies are received from notified person, from unregistered person, for which RCM under section 9.4 is attracted, e-invoicing is not applicable. Always remember, under case of 9.4, e-invoicing provisions are not applicable. Then import of goods or service, beta we did it in the last slides only. In case of import also, e-invoicing is not applicable. Then we have e-invoicing, ma'am. Not registered. I have a question. Let's answer. Ma'am, recipient, the aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore. Perfect. You are the recipient. Your aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore. Seller is not registered. Okay. Seller is not registered under RCM services. Recipient will issue e-invoice. I'm asking everyone. Tell me, who's giving you the services under RCM, I am not registered, but you people are registered, and your aggregate turnover exceed 5 CR. Who'll issue the e-invoice? Perfect. ठीक है. Okay, now e-invoicing in special cases. The e-invoicing system is also available for e-commerce operator to report the invoice to the invoice registration portal generated by them on behalf of supplier, ECO also. And e-invoice applicable to government department, PSU, registered solely for the purpose of deducting tax at source as per the provision of 51. If I'm a DDO, right? Yeah, if I'm a government unit who's registered just in order to deduct TDS under section 51, then the registered person whose turnover exceed the prescribed threshold limit generating the e-invoice is required to issue a e-invoice for the supplies made to such government department or establishment or by government agency, local authority, PSU, etc. So, if I'm a supplier, I'm a notified supplier, my aggregate turnover exceed 5 CR in any of the financial year, and I am supplying the supplies to government department, PSU, then also I have to issue a e-invoice. Did you people understood? Did everyone understood? Navneet, Abhi will take a gap. I'll make it an example and I'll explain also. Right, everyone? So let's have a recap of it. QR code and then we'll start. Tell me yes or no, yes or no. I'm a importer. E-invoice required? Importer? Perfect. Exporter? B2C? B2C transactions? No, very good, very good. Okay, I'm supplying goods to government department and government department is registered under section 51 deducting TDS. I need to issue a e-invoice. Yes, I need to issue a e-invoice. I'm an e-commerce operator. I need to issue. Yes, yes, you people understood. Now, quick response code. Very good, very good. You might log in these classes through the QR code also. So, usually nowadays, everything is through QR code, which is quick response code. And whenever you go for a shopping, you might be given on the point of sale machine, POS machine, a QR code where we scan and we make the payment. So, we are talking about the QR code. Now, quick response code. Upon successful registration of invoice on IRP, it will return a signed invoice, e-invoice to the supplier with IRN and a QR code. IRN is embedded in the QR code, which shall be extracted and printed on the invoice. In the QR code, we have informations, and on that information, you will have your IRN number also. The QR code enable quick view, validation, access of the invoice from the GST system, and from hand held devices. See, whenever usually I buy thing, I scan the QR code just to know is this original, what is the expiry. So if the product is original one from the company, the QR code will scan, and if it is not a original product, the QR code will not scan. That means QR code have many of the information related to the product. Now the digitally signed QR code will have a unique IRN which can be verified on the central portal as well as by the offline app by the officer. This will be helpful for tax officer checking the invoice offline on the roadside where the internet may not be available all the time. Did you people understood about the QR code? Whenever we generate a e-invoice, we get three things. We get IRN, we get a QR code and a digital signature. QR code have a IRN embedded in it. It helps the authority to check the authenticity of the transaction. Everyone understood? Perfect. Now, e-invoicing and dynamic QR code for B2C transaction. This is very important. Let me first. How many kinds of QR code are there? How many kind of QR codes are there? How many kinds of QR code is there? Primarily for payment? Yes, yes, Kuldeep. There are two type of QR code. I'll explain. There are QR codes are of two types, static. Yes, and dynamic. I'll explain. There are two type of QR code, static and dynamic. First, we'll talk about dynamic, right? Yeah, first we'll talk about static. Because sometimes you scan QR code and then you have to fill the amount. True or false? Sometimes you scan the QR code for the payment and you have to fill the amount there itself. That's a static QR code. Perfect, perfect, Adil. That's a static QR code. Sometimes, if you remember, I scan the QR code and the payment is there on my phone pay app or any UPI. The amount is already pre-filled. Right now, that's known as dynamic QR code. Perfect payment gateway. Yes, yes. That's known as dynamic QR code. So, what are we talking about? Perfect, Harsh. Perfect example, right? So, what are we talking about? We are talking about the dynamic QR code, right? And e-invoicing along for which transaction? B2C transaction. So, we are talking about two things. Okay, can I ask you a question? Just think, then we'll read it. Is e-invoicing required for B2C transaction? Is e-invoicing required? Perfect. See, you giving your answers yourself only. I have not yet read also. No. Okay. Is anyone have ever scanned a QR code where the amount was pre-filled? So you have an answer. See, you have an answer. For B2C transaction, e-invoicing is not required. But in certain cases, dynamic QR code is required. Did you get the heading understood before reading? Perfect, Adil, you're getting it. Yes. Shall I proceed now? Perfect, perfect. See, e-invoicing applies only to B2B invoice. However, the law requires certain, yes, Anil, However, law requires certain entity to generate and print a dynamic QR code for B2C invoices. That means the dynamic QR code is not for all the entity. They are for certain entity. And see where the certain entity is. All taxpayer with aggregate turnover more than 500 crore in financial year since 1718 are compulsory required to generate dynamic QR code in B2C transaction. Did you people understood? Yes, Navneet, perfect example. ठीक है? So, if it is a B2C transaction, I need to issue a e-invoice, not required. But I have to give you a dynamic QR code so that you can make a digital payment to me. But if dynamic QR code is to be given from me, then it will only be applicable to me when my aggregate turnover in any of the financial years since 1718 exceed 500 CR. Now, B2C invoices are those invoices where the end user will not be claiming ITC. As of now, B2C invoices are exempted from e-invoicing. We did also. Now, however, under B2C invoice, IRN generation is not required. The purpose of the provision is to enable and encourage digital payment where the buyer can scan the dynamic QR code and make the payment from the mobile wallet directly. Note, if a B2C invoice is sent to IRP, this is a MCQ important. If a B2C invoice is sent to IRP, it will automatically be rejected. There are some people now who keep on poking, right? So I thought, okay, it's one time, it's rejected. I'll give another one now. So, and if sent multiple times, then your IRN generation for the taxpayer will be blocked. So usually if it is sent, it is rejected. But you do it multiple times, then your IRN facility is blocked. Did you people understood? Everyone, perfect. Dynamic QR code and e-invoicing situation in case of B2C transaction. Now, non-applicability for requirement of dynamic QR code. In certain cases also, dynamic QR code is not required. A dynamic QR code is not required, is not applicable to an invoice issued to an unregistered person by the following supply: a insurer, a banking company, a financial institution, including NBFC, goods transport agency. Then we have supplier of passenger transport, then multiplex screen supplier service, and online information database access retrieval, that is OIDAR. Okay, can anyone tell me some kind of exemptions were already we've read for these people? What those exemptions were? We read some kind of exemption. What those exemption were? Exemption from issuing? You have to make a difference. What those exemptions were? Exemption from issuing? Perfect, Adil. Perfect. Exemption from issuing e-invoice. Exemption from issuing e-invoice. And what these exemptions are? What these exemption are? Exemption from quoting dynamic QR code. Yes, it seems similar, but they are not similar, right? Dynamic QR code. Perfect, perfect. Next, dynamic QR code in case of recipient having UIN. Dynamic QR code is required to be provided on an invoice issued to a person who has been issued UIN. Since such person is not regarded as a registered person and any transaction with them to be regarded as B2C transaction. Okay. It says if it is a UIN. Can anybody tell me about full form of UIN? Perfect. And they are issued to? They are issued to? Perfect. Perfect. You people, yeah, yeah, remember? You people told me a foreign company. Perfect. That's why I asked you. Yes, if it is a UIN transaction, then UIN dynamic QR code should be there because it is regarded as B2C transaction. Then we have no dynamic QR code in case of export. Okay, can anyone tell me, is e-invoicing See, I'll ask you people to answer me. I'll only give you the information, right? Is e-invoicing required in case of export? Is e-invoicing required in case of export? Perfect. Next question. Yes, yes. Now tell me, when a e-invoice is issued by the portal, do it have a QR code? When an invoice is issued by the portal, do it have a QR code? Then why dynamic QR code is required? Tell me. Then why the dynamic QR code is required? It already have a QR code now. That's why for export cases, dynamic QR code is not required. Now see, as regard the supply made for export, those such supply are made by a registered person to an unregistered person. However, since e-invoice is required to be issued in respect of supplies for export, treating them B2B supply, dynamic QR code requirement will not be applicable to them. Did you people understood? Dynamic QR code requirement will not be. If I ask you a question, why dynamic QR code is not required in case of export, can you give me an answer of 2 marks? If I ask you a question, why dynamic QR code is not required in case of QR code? Yes, because Navneet, perfect. Because e-invoice is issued and e-invoice already carry a QR code. That's a perfect answer. Now, supplier permitted to issue any document. So we did e-invoicing. Now tell me, there are certain questions which are randomly asked. And can you people write me any four advantage? Don't write just yes or no. Can you people tell me any four advantage? You are able to write any four advantage of e-invoicing? Any four. Right. If I ask you, what are the entities who are exempted from e-invoicing? Can you people write? Yes. What are the entities? See, I'm giving you the question which been asked past, right? What are the entity which are exempted from invoice, exempted from issuing e-invoice? Can I ask you, what are the entity? Don't write me answer. Just tell me, yes, you are able to write the answer, right? Can I ask you, what is the criteria to issue a dynamic QR code in case of B2C transaction? You people are able to write? Perfect. Can I ask you, in what cases dynamic QR code is not required even in case of B2C transaction? Perfect. See, you people are able to write now? Perfect. These are the questions which were asked and I have asked you. These are you able to answer or not, right? Shall we proceed further now? Now, everyone don't issue a tax invoice. Perfect, perfect. Everyone uh, need to be issued beta diya, it need to be issued. Now supplier permitted to issue any document other than tax invoice. Okay, when I go to a multiplex theater to see a movie, do I get an invoice or I get a ticket? What do I get? Do I get an invoice? Yes, Navneet, perfect. Tell me, I am ticket. So that is a kind of invoice, but it has a other document now. Its name have been changed. So that we are doing now. Right? Perfect, perfect. Supplier permitted to issue any document other than tax invoice. Government may, on the recommendation of the council, by notification and subject to such condition as may be mentioned therein, specify the category of service in respect of which any other document issued in relation to supply shall be deemed to be a tax invoice or tax invoice may not be issued. See, it's talking about two aspects. Either issue any other form of a document which will be considered as invoice. Like for your example, Anil, I did not get why. Because tell me now, in case of ticket, it's not possible now to issue invoice every time. So that's what key government itself has given you these kind of things. And in certain cases, you need not to even issue a tax invoice. Now we'll see the example. Insurance company, have you seen how much exemption have been given to insurance companies, banking companies, then financial institution, including NBFCs? We are talking first about that. Okay, you might have a message that certain amount have been debited due to locker charges, due to bank charges. True or false? You have this message? Yes, na? Do you ever get an invoice? No, you don't get an invoice. You just get a statement about it. See? So that's in place of invoice. That's we are doing. Now, optional information need not to have this. What? Serial number? doesn't have that message a serial number. Address of the recipient of taxable service. Why address to be mentioned? It's already been registered with the bank or insurance company. Right. Now, mandatory information. Other information other than serial number and address of recipient as prescribed by the tax invoice. Other information must be there. Now, a customer may avail numerous service from a bank insurer in a given tax period. Such entity may issue a consolidated invoice, a statement, or a advice. See, what are the uses? I can issue a consolidated tax invoice, a statement, or a advice, any other document in lieu thereof by whatever name called. See, I can issue any kind of document either physically or electronically for supply of service made during a month at the end of the month. If I ask you a MCQ, see, there is a MCQ which could be framed. Banking company, insurance company can issue a advisor statement at the end of the month. True or false? For all the transaction which you took during the month. True now? Perfect, perfect, perfect. However, the signature or digital signature of the supplier or is authorized is not required. When we get a message, do we have a signature on it? No, na. So the signature is not required. Now, the next, in case of GTA, Goods Transport Agency, GTA shall issue a tax invoice, which is known as consignment note, containing gross weight, which is to be traveled, transported, name of the consigner, consignee, registration number of good carriage, detail of good transported, detail of place of origin and destination, and GSTF of the person who is liable to pay GST. These are certain information which should be there on the note issued by the GTA authority. Now, passenger transportation, everyone would have traveled through air or rail. Everyone. In fact, I'm majorly talking about rail. Everyone have traveled? You have a rail ticket? You have a rail ticket? Right? We don't have a name on it. Yes, we don't have a name and it is not an invoice, right? It's a ticket. We are talking about that. A tax invoice shall include ticket in any form, whether or not serially numbered, which may or may not have address of the recipient. Nahi hota, right? Perfect, Navneet, nahi hota. Signature or digital signature of supplier or his authorized representative shall not be required, and the ticket doesn't have signature also. So it is telling ki in case of tickets, your serial number is not required, the digital signatures are not required, the address of the recipient is not required. Then, admission to exhibition of cinematography, film or multiplex screen. हम करते हैं तो हाँ हाँ नवनीत, वो एक्चुअली वो जब आप ई टिकट पूरा प्रिंट करते हो देन यू हैव इट, अदरवाइज ऑन द टिकट you don't have it. You have your age, male, female, and the date of journey and the seat. है ना? Ma'am, can we say as relaxation from issuing? Yes, yes, Anil, perfect. General mein nahi hota. Yes, Navneet, we don't have it. Now, we are talking about next, the movie ticket. See, movie ticket, when you take it a physical form, it's a white slip, right? You have a theater room number in which cinema you need to see the movie, your seat number. That means the basic information were made as mentioned were not there. So, a registered person supplying service by way of admission to exhibition of cinematography, film, and multiplex screen shall be required to issue an electronic ticket, and the said electronic ticket shall be deemed to be a tax invoice, even if such ticket does not contain the detail of recipient of service but contain the other information. In case of single screen owner, may at his option follow the above provision. If it is a single screen, usually now we don't have single screens, we have multiple screens now. But I am blessed and there in a city where we have single screen, and I guess those are only in two places now, Mumbai Maratha and in Jaipur Raj Mandir. So usually we don't have, but if it is a single screen theater, then yes, it is upon the owner of the screen whether he want to comply with the compulsion above, yeah, the things above or not. Because take place Anil, not exactly. We can't say like this. Ki this is the real reason. That's the because thousands rupees transaction take place each minute. Thousands of yes. I thought rupees. Yes, Anil is very perfect. Why this relaxation is given? Because n number of transaction take place in these association and these entities. So this relaxation has been given. Now we have delivery challan. Now we'll do. Okay. First of all, I need to ask you what we did first, e-invoicing, right? First we did e-invoicing, then we said following entities need not to require to issue a invoice. Rather, they can issue any other document in lieu of invoices. And for them, we did banking, insurance companies, we did GTA, we did multiplex cinemas, and then we have that passenger transportation in that cases. Did you people understood? That's a summary recap I usually get through so that we are in line. Yes, we are doing these things, right? Now we'll do delivery challans. Okay. Uh, First of all, I'll ask and then we'll proceed. I am sending my artwork to art galleries. I already discussed this also. I'm sending my artwork to art galleries for the display, for the purpose of display. Is this a sale? Is this a sale? Very good, Shamli. This was my next question. Is this a supply? No. And when it's not supply, the invoice could not be issued now? No. But the point is, I need to issue some kind of document, and in that case, I'll issue a delivery challan. In that case, I'll issue a DC, a delivery challan. Did you get the objective issuing the delivery challan behind delivery challan? That's not a supply. Perfect. Now we'll read it. Rule 55, perfect. Rule 55, specify the cases where at the time of removal of the goods from truck for transportation, goods can be removed on delivery challan and invoice may be issued after delivery. These are provided in the following data, yeah, following table. In the following cases, we'll issue a delivery challan and we'll issue an invoice afterward. But at this point, we'll issue a delivery challan. Supply of liquid gas, where the quantity of the time at the time of removal from the place of business of the supplier is not known. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Sometimes when I issue a good, when I start the movement of the good, I don't know what quantity will be given to the recipient. And that is the example of the LPG gas, the gas which we have in the pipeline. While we supply the gas, we don't know how many, what will be the consumption at your part. So we'll issue a delivery challan. Then transportation of goods for a reason other than by way of supply. This is your example. This is for you people. Tell me any two example where I am transporting the good for reason other than supply. Any two reason. Yes, Navneet. If we issue a invoice, gadbad ho jayegi. Any two reason where I am transporting the good, but the good is perfect, Navneet. Very good. Very good. Hands off. ठीक है. See, two example is job work for the purpose of job work, right? For the purpose of display in exhibition. Perfect. In that case, it's not a supply. So we'll issue a delivery challan. Perfect, Navneet. Now, okay. Delivery challan. First, we'll complete what are the condition and then wedding season ornament. Yes, Navneet, I gave you the example also. Perfect, Navneet. You did all the homework. Such other supplies as may be notified by the board. Okay, some other examples also. Now we'll see delivery challan to be issued. Serially number not exceeding 16 character. Okay, who is going to tell me? Invoice must also have maximum character. How many maximum character? 60. Perfect. Kuldeep, that's what I wanted. 64 is for IRN. 64 is for IRN. For invoice, it's 16, right? Perfect, Navneet. in one or multiple series. You can have single series or multiple series at the time of removal of goods for transportation. When will we issue a delivery challan? At the time of removal. Now, particular date and the number of the delivery challan, name, address, and GSTN of consigner if registered, name, address, GSTN of consignee if registered, HSN code or if for the description of good, quantity, provisional, where the exact quantity being supplied is not known. If you don't know the quantity, of course, we don't know the quantity, then provisional. Then taxable value, tax rate and the tax amount, that is central tax, state tax, integrated tax, union tax or cess, where the transportation is for supply to the consignee. If it is my purpose is to supply the goods to the consignee, I may have a tax rate and the tax. Perfect, Navneet, perfect. Now, place of supply in case interstate movement. Okay, place of supply you need to mention if it is an interstate movement and the signature. Okay, my question, Navneet, we'll ask everyone now. You've answered. I took the question. It's for everyone. At the time of issuing dash, I don't know the rate and place. So, what am I talking about? No, I'm not talking about the rate or the nature. No, I'm talking about at the time of issuing dash. Yeah, at the time of receipt of. Okay, at the time of receipt of. I'm making things easy for you. No, at the time of receipt of advance. You people remember? At the time of receipt of advance. It was yes, Anil. At the time of receipt of advance, I don't know whether it'll be a interstate, intrastate, and what kind of HSN or SSC. Then we'll have 18% as the rate, and yes, it was a case of advance, and I emphasized also in that case, right? That was just alarming question, right? Okay, now delivery challan in triplicate, we'll not go. Of course, when invoice is in triplicate, we'll have delivery challan. The original one is for the consignee, the duplicate for the transporter, and the triplicate for the consigner. Then we have delivery challan. It has to be declared in e-way bill. Of course, transportation take place, e-way bill will be there. Where the goods being transported on a delivery challan in lieu of invoice, that is in place of delivery challan, as we are not making supply, it is mandatory. Yes, if it the supply is to the consignee, right? It's not to the job workers, rather it is to the consignee who might like the good also. Then we have the same shall be declared in the e-way bill. So if the supply is in place of invoice, that is, it is not a supply. It is for other than the reason of supply. We'll have DC, and the DC will have information in e-way bill. Yeah, e-way bill have the information about the DC. Tax invoice to be issued after delivery of the good, where the goods being transported for the purpose of supply to the recipient. But the tax invoice could not be issued at the time of removal of good for the purpose of supply. The supplier shall issue tax invoice after delivery of the good. See, we did it in the last class only. During the time of marriages, we ask anyone to bring the ornaments at our places, right? And once we like it, at the time when they'll be removed, we'll have delivery challan. But when we like it, then the supplier will issue a invoice. Did everyone get it? Did everyone get it? We did it in the last class also. Goods in semi knockdown and completely knockdown condition. I'll tell you what is semi and completely. Sometimes you buy a bicycle of kids, right? And they are completely knocked down and they are in a box. Once like my kid, he liked the cycle, then the person at the showroom or a person at my place comes and fit it to get a cycle done. Sometimes you get a furniture which is in the boxes, and then the people of the company comes, they install and they make a complete furniture. So sometimes the furniture or sometimes the good are in what condition? Semi knockdown or completely knocked down. Then in that case, where the goods are being transported in semi knockdown or completely knocked down condition, or in batches or in lot. See, I'm supplying you 1,000 quantity, but the point is these 1,000 quantities will be supplied in 4 lot, right? 250 quantity per lot. That is the example. Where the supplier shall issue complete invoice before the dispatch of the first consignment. So We have 4 trucks carrying 250 each of the material. Now the thing is, invoice will be issued when the first consignment will be removed. See, the supplier shall issue the complete invoice before the dispatch of the first consignment. Then the supplier shall issue a delivery challan for each of the subsequent consignment giving reference to the invoice. Now see, when the first is there, delivery challan is there. Where the second is there, delivery challan is there. Where the third is there, delivery challan is there. But when the last one is there, the original invoice is there. Then the copy of corresponding delivery challan shall accompany each consignment along with a duly certified copy of an invoice. That means this DC will have a invoice, copy of invoice and copy of invoice. But the original one will be with the final. And the original copy of the invoice shall be sent along with the last consignment. Did everyone get it? Did everyone get it? If you're getting a good in lot, then you'll have delivery challan with each lot. The original invoice will be with the last consignment, right? And with delivery challan, you will have a copy of relevant invoice. Then we have prohibition. So finally, section 31 is done. Now we are left with only 3 sections, which are not very big sections. Now, section number 32. So we are doing 32, prohibition of unauthorized collection of taxes. A person who is not registered person shall not collect in respect of any supplier of goods or service both any amount by way of tax under this act. No registered person shall collect tax in accordance with the provision of this act or rule made there under. But of course, if I am not registered under GST, I am not allowed to collect GST. Now, example, Rajuta is engaged in providing grooming service. She is not registered under GST law and her turnover is also below the threshold limit. Rajuta cannot collect tax on the grooming service provided by her, as person who is not registered person cannot collect any amount by way of tax under GST law in respect of any supply of goods or service or both. This is understood the section. Unless I'm registered, either compulsory, either voluntary, I am not authorized to collect the tax from the recipient, right? Understood? Right? Perfect. Perfect. So 32 is done. See, now we are on the verge of completion. Amount of tax to be indicated in the tax invoice and other. Okay. Can I ask you, what do we mean by other document? Any 2 examples? I'll be happy if you answer. Any other document, any 2 example. Though I can ask you 5 also. Okay, perfect, Navneet. Yes. Ticket, delivery challan, payment challan. We had so many other consolidated revised tax invoice. Remember other document, the first class? We have so many of. You people are still stuck to tickets and all those. That is okay, but you have those other documents also now. You can have the example of those also. Any, right? Yes, perfect, Pooja. Where any supply is made for a consideration. Every person who is liable to pay tax for such supply should prominently indicate in all document relating to assessment, tax invoice, and other like document the amount of tax which shall form part of the price at which the supply is made. This is very much self-explanatory. Rate along with the amount of tax must be there. Perfect, perfect. So last, section 34. Shamli, do you need break? Everyone, do you people need break? Yes. So, okay, see, this is perfect, perfect. This is 717. Okay, this is 717. We'll have a break till 25. अच्छा कल break नहीं मिला था. So sad, right? Okay, so we'll have till then. If anyone have a question, they can ask me. I'll answer. Rest, you people join me back at 25, right? So you people can go. And if anyone have a question, can ask me, I'll reply. Any doubt related to the last session, this session, as your wish. I have a question. Most of this is related to chapter time of supply. Perfect, Gayatri, you got it. If you don't know, yeah, if you don't have information about invoice, then time of supply becomes difficult. So every data which we've used here will again be used in time of supply toss. Perfect. Perfect, Gayatri. Then we have Kuldeep. Why different static and dynamic code is required? Why don't we cannot have dynamic? Okay, Kuldeep, usually dynamic code is specific for each transaction. So the payment made to parties who's giving you the services of providing dynamic code is much higher as compared to static. Because in, okay, you might have seen so many hawker. Nowadays, everyone have a QR code. We scan, we pay. Even the vegetable person who's sitting on the roadside, or any person who's coming to my place and selling vegetables have QR code. Those are static now. The payment is payment for taking those codes are very less, very less. But in case of dynamic, you have a different code for every transaction. So usually dynamic code is a costly affair as compared to static. That is the reason. No, beta, Anil, I told you the reason. That's the reason. Since you have a different QR code for every transaction, na, amount can't be similar. Okay, Dia, if I'm making a supply to UIN, unique, this is UIN, then Kuldeep, yes, yes, answer UIN, then I need to have a dynamic QR code. This is the case. Kuldeep, one question, please. Kuldeep, I'm waiting for the question. In case of supply of less than 200 rupees, then no need to issue, no need of invoice. Then why ticket need all GSTN? Beta, it is written there now. In case of that consolidated tax invoice, not applicable in case of PVRs, multiplex. I told you also. I give you an example. On Wednesday, we'll see a movie, which is in the morning because nobody comes. In that case, they need to issue now. We had an exemption over. Yes, Nagaraja, but of course I'll do it. Ma'am, e-commerce operator will issue a e-invoice, right, ma'am? Or QR code is necessary, right? Them. Beta, they'll issue a e-invoice if they are under the mandate, if they are notified person. Or QR code is necessary for them if they comes under the ambit of dynamic QR code. Of course, they have to. Usually, they operate at a pan India level. Any other? This chapter is actually a base of time of supply. The complete time of supply is dependent upon invoicing. Ma'am, how to MCQs type of question? I've mentioned every MCQ which been asked in the past. In the like we have that GESCOM and everything I mentioned. I saw the past MCQs which were they've been asked, and I mentioned them in the. And I'm asking you also again and again. Tell me what could be the answer, ma'am. Issue for paying for ma'am. Aditya, this I can't answer now. Why technical issues for paying this? These people have to make their server more stronger. Nahi, Navneet, no. That's a different aspect. No. Acha, Navneet, it is like, yes, if you have given, yes, you can take like that. If you're given a QR code for payment reference, then yes. Ma'am, prohibition to collect taxes exclusively for, Anil, reframe. Let me. Ma'am, prohibition to collect tax is exclusively for B2B people, right? If they are not registered. Anil, this line doesn't make any sense now. Prohibition to collect tax. Okay, you're talking about the last sections. Prohibition to collect taxes exclusively for B2B people. Right? No, beta, don't take it like this. I got your point, Anil. Don't take it like this. It's not about B2B or B2C, right? The only thing is the important thing is if I am supplying you good and if I am registered, whether I am supplying it to B2B, whether I'm supplying it to B2C, I can only collect tax when I'm registered. If I'm not registered under GST, I am not authorized to collect GST. This is what it is not about B2B, B2C. That the B2B, B2C transaction is upon taking of credit, right? Then we have then same state should be necessarily done on delivery challan. Beta, Kuldeep, it depends. Beta, are we on the registered same? Are we distinct unit or not? If we are distinct unit, then the invoice will be issued. Now we had this now stock transfer. Then, ma'am, recipient's ATO. Okay, recipient. Navneet, you are my recipient. The ATO is more than 5 crore and the seller is not registered under RCM service. Recipient will issue e-invoice. Perfect, Navneet. True. Along with the payment voucher. Perfect. Perfect. Now, shall we continue with the class? Shall we? Shall we continue now? We have questions also now. Perfect, Shamli. We have questions also now. Credit note. We are talking about credit note. Section 34, the last section. We have four sections: 31, 32, 33, 34. So, credit note means a document issued by any registered person. Perfect. Now, a supplier of goods or services mandatory required to issue a tax invoice. Perfect. However, after a issue of one or more invoice, there could be a situation like while credit note is issued, there can be a situation like the supplier has erroneously declared a value which is more than the actual value of the goods service provided. Okay, I sold the good valuing 1,000 rupees to you, but due to some error, maybe I did not did it intentionally. I billed you for 1,200 rupees. How many extra rupees did you give me? You gave me 200 rupees extra, right? Now I have to give you 200 rupees back. In that case, I'll issue you a credit. Yes, I have 200 rupees there of yours, which you can take credit from me, right? Now, the supplier has anonymously declared higher tax rate, what is applicable to the kind of goods and service supplied. The goods I supplied were under 5% GST rate, but due to some error, I charged 12%. So I charged extra to give you back. I'll issue you a credit note. The quantity received by the perfect update. The quantity received by the recipient is less than what has been declared in the tax invoice. But of course, I need to supply you 1,000 kgs, but I supplied only 800 kgs and the billing was of 1,000 kgs. Now, I have to give you a credit of 200 kgs amount. I'll issue you a credit note. The quality of the goods supplied is not to the satisfactory of recipient, thereby necessitating a partial or a total reimbursement of the invoice value. You asked me for the A category of good, but due to mistake, I supplied you B category of good. So now you want the difference between the price to be paid to you. I'll issue you a credit note or any other similar situation. Yes, Ashleisha, perfect. It's a kind of a sales return. Perfect, Navneet. Now, credit note. The supplier may issue a recipient. Very important MCQs are there on it and the application based questions also. One consolidated or more of credit note for the supply made during a financial year without linking the same to individual invoices. It says that I have multiple kind of such transaction where credit note to be issued. I can do one thing. I can issue multiple credit note giving reference to the invoice, or I can have a consolidated credit note. Did you people understood? Aditya, I'm just answering. Okay, everyone understood now? There is a question from Aditya. I'll answer. Ma'am, if I sell stock entry, if I sell stock entry, can I sale return must be stock? I did not get Aditya. What is this question? We'll reframe or I'll ask you to call this once again so that I get it. Now, once the credit note has been issued, the tax liability of supplier will be reduced. But of course, I originally booked the sale of 1,200 rupees, but the sale was of 1,000 rupees only, and I'm issuing you a credit note of rupees 200. So my sales will reduce. At the same times, my tax liability will also reduce. Recipient should be one. Of course, Ashlesha, that's a perfect answer. Recipient should be one for a consolidated credit note. There is no prescribed format, but credit note issued by the supplier. The credit note is therefore a convenient and a legal method by which the value of goods service both in the original tax invoice can be amended or revised. Then the issuance of credit note will easily allow the supplier to decrease his tax liability in his GSTR without requiring him to undertake any tedious process of refund. So we usually say, Navneet, I'm answering. So we easily say it's a convenient method. If you need to refund some kind of amount, you just issue a credit note. You can consolidate it also so that the supplier's tax liability get reduced. At the same time, the recipient, if he has taken the ITC on such goods, such tax, then he has to reverse that ITC, right? Yes, reversal. Navneet, that's what I wanted to tell. Yes, of course, reverse karna padega, right? Is there any e-invoicing? Of course, we did it in the e-invoice only. E-invoice is applicable for the invoice, debit note, credit note. Of course, of course. Now, then we have credit note. Any registered person who issue a credit note for the supply has to declare detail of such credit note in GSTR1 for the month during which the credit note has been issued. Usually, credit note are shown in GSTR1. There are number of tables. There we need to show it. However, if I am not able to show it in the month of GSTR1 when the credit note was issued, then what is the final date? The final date will be 30th November following the end of the financial year in which the supply was made, or due date, date of furnishing the annual return, whichever is earlier. Can anybody tell me what is the date of filing annual return under GST? Perfect. 31st December. Yes, 31st December. Perfect. Perfect. So it is telling I'll tell. This is a financial year to which the credit note relate. And the due date, that's the, yes, perfect. That's the due date of filing the annual return under GST, or it is 30th November. Now tell me, if you people answer, then, right, I'm framing a question. Beta, I filed my annual return on 15th November. 15th November. Tell me, till what time I have to file my data about my credit note. I have filed my perfect annual return. Perfect, perfect. Because the point is either 30th November following the end of earlier date. Perfect, beta. Either 30th November following the end of the financial year in which supply was made, or date of. Perfect, perfect. Okay, can I ask you one more thing? Now tell me the other example to it. If I have not filed my annual return till 30th December, I'll be filing my annual return on 30th December. What is the last date of giving the information of credit note? Perfect, perfect. 30th November. You people get it. Perfect. 30th November. Now, we have the last one, debit note. We have the last one. Debit note means a document issued by a registered person. I'll give you an example. See. I gave you example last time also. I need to supply you 1000 kgs, but I supplied 200 kgs and you accepted the good also, right? So my main invoice was of 1000 kg. Now I'll issue the debit note for 200 kgs. Did you people understood? Did you people understood? I'll issue a debit note for 200 kgs. This is what the whole case is all about. Now, where and now where one or more tax invoice has been issued for supply of any goods, supplementary invoice diya, very good, you remember, and the taxable value in the tax invoice is found to be less than the taxable value of supply. The tax charge in the invoice is found to be less than the tax payable for supply. The registered person who supplied such goods shall issue to the recipient a debit note, also known as supplementary invoice. The supplier may issue to the invoice one consolidated or one or more debit note for the supply made during financial year without linking the same to individual. Same case as of credit note. Then any registered person who issue a debit note in relation to the supply of goods or service shall declare the detail of such debit note in the return of the month during which such debit note has been issued, and the tax liability shall be adjusted. Whenever I have issued debit note, I'll give the information in the GSTR one of that period, right? Tell me one thing. Okay, I'll tell. I won't ask you the question. There is no last date to give information about the. Yes, there is no last date. In case of credit note, we have a last date now, but in case of debit note, we don't have any last date, right? We don't have any last date because government is getting taxes. There, they don't mention any last date. Everyone got it? Ah, Navneet, you got the point. I was bit using very less words to it. Perfect. Now, illustration for you people. I need you that answer them perfectly. Karthik and Company, registered supplier under GST. Okay. Provide the following information regarding the various tax invoice issued by it in the month of March. Okay. As well as regarding by Anil, because in debit note is a supplementary invoice, and whenever an invoice is issued, government get. Anil, right. I don't want to say government get. What do government get? If I'm issuing a supplementary invoice, Ashlisha, Anil is not getting the point. The government will get taxes, and when the government is getting revenue, do you feel it will give you any kind of last date? Do you feel? No, na? Yeah, perfect now. Tell me, value of supply? Yes, ma'am, supply has to get his month due, hence government knows. Yes, you understood, Shraddha. Now, the value of supply, everyone is so clever, na? Everyone. My class is very interesting. They tell what I can't speak. Now, okay, I'm coming back. Value of supply charged in invoice in number one was 2,50,000 against the actual taxable value of rupees 2,30,000. You answer. Okay, bhai, I charged the invoice. Perfect. I charged the invoice for 2,50,000 rupees, though the actual value was 230. Yes, I have to issue a credit note. Perfect. Of rupees 20,000. Everyone correct. Everyone correct. Now, the tax charged in the invoice number 4 is 32,000 against the actual tax liability of 68,000 due to wrong HSN code being chosen while issuing the invoice. What will I issue now? Perfect. Debit note. I need to demand payment. Very good. You people are doing wonderful job of 36,000. Perfect. Now, next. Value charged in the invoice number 8 was 3,20,000 as against the actual value of 4,20,000 due to wrong quantity considered while billing. What do uh, we have debit note now, right? See, my the value charged in the invoice, I charged only 3,20,000, whereas the actual value was for 4,20,000. Yes, I need to issue a debit note, right? And for rupees 1 lakh. Perfect, perfect. Now, who shall issue a debit and credit note? Perfect. Under CGST in each of the above transaction, of course, the supplier will issue. What a question, right? Then, whether debit or credit note, we've already answered. What is the maximum time limit available for declaring the credit note in GSTR return? It's 30th November or annual filing of return, whichever is earlier. Perfect. Everyone got it now? Perfect, perfect. Perfect. Chaliye. We have application based question. Perfect, everyone. So if it is like section wise, we've completed the sections. We've completed the topic. These are the whole question which we need to do. Everyone. Now the question. Did you people understood? We have four sections. 31, 32, 33, 34. Everyone understood? Perfect. Can I ask you questions? Can I ask you questions? Section 31 stands for? Section 31 stands for? Okay, 34. याद नहीं होते? मैं नवनीत मैं याद कराती हूँ. देखो, 31 stands for debit note and credit note. 32 stands for, I'll make you learn the sections, don't worry. 30, ma'am, if between, ma'am, Said have a question. Okay, ma'am, in between, if GST officer caught the vehicle undervalued, then okay, we have this is a case of fraud, and in that case we have to pay the penalties. Yes, this is usually happen. Very good. Kuldeep is answer giving the answer. Second, 32 stands for prohibition of unauthorized collection of taxes. This is 32. 33 stands for, 33 stands for, 33 stands for amount of tax invoice, amount to be included. Now I'll, very good, very good. Now I'll make you understand these sections. See, learn. सबसे important 31 invoice. Write it the way I am writing. I learn almost every section of DT and GST in the way same itself. See, section 31 invoice. Okay. Then we have section 32. Section 32 is, if I am not registered, I can't issue invoice now. That means unauthorized collection. Of course, invoice can be issued only by registered person. If I'm not registered, I can't collect tax. That's the next section telling. Section 33. I got registered. Now, amount of rate, amount of tax to be mentioned. And, but of course, in last 34, credit note, debit note. Now tell me, did you people understood how to learn the sections? Did you people understood? See, this is the way to learn. 31, 1 stands for invoice first. Next, if you need to issue an invoice, you need to be registered. That means 32 says if you are not registered, you can't collect tax because invoice is a document showing tax. So that means unauthorized collection. 33 says now you are registered, right? Very good. Now you are registered. That means you need to collect tax. Then in order to collect tax, the rate and the amount of tax should be mentioned, right? And in the last 34, which is debit note and credit note. Now never say that you can't learn the section. You've learned the section now. You've learned the section now. The four sections, right? Okay. It feels happy. Navneet, how can I say no, no, beta, no, I can't. Right? Are, let me. Now we'll do question, and this is your turn. I will only be explaining the question. You need to answer, right? Royal Fashion, a registered. Say be clear, ma'am. Perfect, perfect. Royal Fashion, a registered supplier of designer outfit. Okay, he's a designer outfit supplier in Delhi, of course, in Delhi. Decided to exhibit a product in a fashion show being organized by Hotel Park Royal Delhi on 4th January. Done. For the occasion, it gets the service by way of makeover of its model or a from Aura Beauty Services Limited. Just imagine the question for was for outfit, and now they are telling that they have taken some beauty grooming services for their models. Ashok Bihar on 4th January. So when did the service was taken? It was taken on 4th January for a consideration of rupees 5 lakh. Okay, excluding GST has been charged. Okay, now Aura Beauty Service Limited issued a duly signed tax invoice on 10th February showing the lump sum amount of rupees 5 lakh 90,000 inclusive of CGST and SGST each for the service provided. Answer the following question. First of all, the question is I'm a maker of designer dresses. I have some kind of exhibition where the model will be wearing my those outfit and those model look beautiful. I have taken some beauty treatment, such kind of grooming services, and the service was taken on 4th of the question was taken on 4th of January. Now you people tell me, in case of service invoice to be issued within 30 days. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. It has to be issued within 30 days or at the time of provision of the service. Now, when did he issue the service invoice? Or a beauty service issued a duly signed invoice on 10th February. Haan bhai, correct or not correct? Within? After. Perfect. It's not correct, not correct. Now we'll answer. Now wait. Perfect. You people got it. Examine whether the tax invoice has been issued within the time limit prescribed. The answer is no, it's not prescribed within the tax. Tax consultant of Royal Fashions objected to invoice, raised suggestion that the amount of tax charged in respect of the taxable supply should be shown separately in the invoice raised by Aura Beauty Service Limited. However, Aura Beauty Service Limited contended that there is no mandatory requirement. You people will give me the answer in section. See, yes, Adil, it is required. Rate of tax and the amount of tax should be shown separately. But what is the section behind? Now only I have given you the summary recap. Perfect. Everyone perfect. Now tell me, how can you say you never learn these sections? You have the answer 33. Amount of tax and rate of tax. Make it like this. 3% is the rate of tax and 3% is the amount of tax. Yeah, 3 is the amount of tax, section 33. Everyone got the sections now? Now you have the answer with sections. Right? Can we proceed to the next? Nahin, Navneet, we'll have everything. Now, application next question. Kidsy Toy Limited, a wholesaler of toy registered in Chandigarh. Perfect. Is renowned in the local market for the variety of toys and their reasonable price. They are renowned. Okay, Kidsy Toys Limited make a supply of 100 pieces of babies learning laptop and chat learning phones to Nancy Green General Store on 25th September by issuing a tax invoice amounting to rupees 1 lakh. Perfect. However, the said toys were returned by Nancy General Store on 30th September. Discuss the document Kidsy Toy Limited is required to issue in such cases. Your turn. Perfect. What will be issued? Credit note will be issued. Perfect. ठीक है perfect credit note. अच्छा, can a consolidated credit note be issued? Can a consolidated credit note can be issued? Perfect. Okay, linking it to the invoice is required. Linking it to the invoice, particular invoice is required. Perfect. It's not required. We have to mention no, beta. No, it's not required, right? Shall we proceed to the further question? Perfect. A credit note. Okay. What is the section of credit note? A credit note under section dash will be issued. See, everyone is having the answer. 34 is issued. Perfect. Beta 33 is not for credit debit note. Next question. We have Trust and Fund Limited, an event management company, has provided its services for an event at Kapoor Film Agency, Mumbai on 5th June. Okay. The service was given on 5th June. Payment of the event was made on 19th June. Perfect. Determine the time of issue of invoice as per the provision of CGST Act. First of all, invoice in respect of goods or service, IOG or IOS. service. Perfect. You got this? Okay. Then iOS. Yes, yes. Now, then is it a normal service or a continuous service? Is it a normal service or a continuous service? N or C? Perfect. It will be a normal service, right? It will be a normal service. Perfect. Now, tell me the answer. So you have all the provision. Why will I explain? Till what time the invoice has to be issued? Within 30 days. Yes, Anil. It is at the time of provision of the service or within 30 days. Yes, yes, yes. You people get it now? The invoice should be issued at the time of provision or within 30 days you can issue the invoice. Can we proceed to the next question now? You're getting the answers? Perfect. Uday Singh, a registered supplier, has received advance payment. Okay. We have a question, Mujahid. He's asking me out, ma'am, how to know whether the service is a normal one or a continuous one. Can anyone give me, if it is a continuous supply of service, then what is the time frame? Yes, Navneet, perfect. It has to be for more than 3 months. It has to be for more than 3 months. If a service is for more than 3 months, then we'll give. We have an example also. Ashlesha told me anything like AMC annual maintenance charges. They are for a year, for a quarter. Quarter don't take it for a semi. Then it is a continuous supply of. Understood? You've got the answer. Perfect. Power distribution, Pitu. Power distribution is a good. Electricity is a good. We can't take it over here. Now we'll. Uday Singh, a registered supplier, has received advance payment with respect to service to be supplied to Sujamal. Okay, he's taken an advance for a service. His accountant asked him to issue a receipt voucher with respect to such service to be supplied. His accountant is saying, ki, yes, issue a receipt voucher. Now, however, he is apprehensive as to what would happen in case a receipt voucher is issued, but subsequently no services are supplied. You are required to advise Uday Singh regarding the same. First question to you people. Is a receipt voucher required to be issued by the supplier if he take a advance? Perfect. Perfect. Yes. If due to any reason, nor the invoice was issued, nor the supply was made. See, I'm asking you, if due to any reason, nor the invoice was issued, nor the supply was made, I'll refund you the money. What will I give you? Perfect. I'll give you a refund voucher. Perfect. You have the answer. Next question. Next question. Tell me one thing. Now, if I took a advance and I don't know whether it will be interstate or intrastate, I don't know what will be the HSN or SAC, then what will be the case? Then interstate and 18%. See, every point which has to be there in the answer, we have discussed and it should be there in your answer copies, right? Perfect, perfect. Now, Bhojraj, a registered person. Perfect, perfect, beta. Bhojraj, a registered person, has availed GTA service from unregistered supplier. Okay, by Bhojraj, I am a Bhojraj and I am a registered person and I have availed a GTA service from unregistered supplier on which he is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. I have not yet read. You people have answer. He wishes to know whether he is required to issue an invoice. Please advise him discussing the relevant provision of CGST Act. Okay, bhai. So if I am the recipient and I am taking any service or good on which RCM is applicable and the person who's supplying me is unregistered, I'll issue a payment voucher as well as I'll issue a invoice, right? I'll issue a invoice. Okay, my next question to it, though I have an answer, but still I am asking. Tell me, if I am a notified person, that means my aggregate turnover in any of the financial year from 2017-18 exceeded 5 CR. Do I have to issue dash? I need to issue, yeah, do I have to issue dash? Yes, I have to issue a e-invoice. Perfect. Perfect. Now, Next question. Next question. Rana Sangha Limited. Section 9. Perfect, perfect. I have to. Now, you people play. People says me, you don't learn sections, but I feel you are answering me in the sections. So you people can learn section. Don't say me ki, ma'am, we can't learn the section, but provisions can be memorized, right? You people are writing me in answers in section. Now we have Rana Sangha Limited, a registered supplier, has made following taxable supply to its customer Babar in the quarter ending 30th June. Okay, bhai, Rana Sangha has given services to a customer called Barber. Babur. Okay. Now, 5th April, bill number is 102 and a notebooks have been supplied for rupees 1200. Then on 10th May 197 bill number, a chart paper have been supplied for rupees 600. Then on 20th May 230 bill number, a crayon colors have been supplied for rupees 500. 254 bill number, poster colors have been supplied for rupees 900. And on the last 22nd June, bill number 304, pencil box 4 sets have been supplied for rupees 700. Till now, it is okay. Now, goods in respect of bill number, which bill number? 102, 230 and 254 have been returned by the, yes, of course, you people get it, returned by the Babur. You are required to advise Rana Sangha Limited whether it can issue a consolidated credit note against all the three invoices. Yes or no? Perfect answer. Ma'am, the provision relates to section 34, and in that also section 34, it's related to debit note or a credit note. It relate to credit note. And and can a consolidated credit note can be issued? Yes, consolidated credit note can be issued. Yes. So yes, so we have done the whole chapter along with all the question mentioned in ICI. I've given you some past RTP questions also. Any doubt from my side, it's done. And soon, ma'am will be joining us. So please share notes, of course. Ma'am, these questions and answers send. Okay, that is for you people only. I'll of course send. Now, can we take a summary recap? Fatafat, can we? Can we? Okay, okay. Okay, so we are doing a summary recap. We are done with the chapter. And this is a questionnaire type of questions. That means it's a question session, and you people have to answer me. Okay. Invoice under GST can be called tax invoice also. True or false? T and F. A invoice under GST could be called as tax invoice also. True, true. That's a right answer. Okay. Next. In an invoice, both the party can be identified. True or false? True. Okay. Invoice is a domestic instrument. Invoice is a domestic instrument. It's a commercial instrument, right? It's a commercial instrument. Okay. Next. Okay, next, I need to hide. A invoice can be of maximum 16 character. That means it can be less than 16 character also. True or false? A invoice can be of max. I know you people know the answer. That's why I changed it. It can be of less than 16 character also. Maximum. Okay, the characters can only be numeral. True or false? The characteristic has to be only numeral. False. It can be numeral, it could be alphabetic, and it could be use of special character. Yes, alphanumeral as well as use of special character. Okay. Okay, if you don't have an invoice, you won't be able to get dash. If you don't have an invoice, you won't be able to get dash. ITC. Perfect. You won't be able to get ITC in case of dash. In case of dash, If you don't have an invoice, you won't be getting dash. Perfect answer, ITC. But in case of dash, in what kind of transactions? In what kind of transactions? Perfect. In case of B2B transaction. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Then we have manner of issuing the invoice. I'll be hiding this. Manner of issuing the invoice. If it is an invoice and it will be issued in 3 copy, the second copy is for, it will be issued in 3 copies in case of good, and the second copy will be for, perfect answer. And in the same case, if it is an invoice of service, the second copy will be for, and in the same case is for the supplier. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, now we are on the question of time limit. If the if the movement of goods are involved, I'll hide it. If the movement of the goods are involved, the invoice to be issued at or before. If the movement of the goods are involved, the invoice has to be issued at or before the fill in the blanks. Perfect. At or before the time of removal. Perfect. Perfect answer. ठीक है. Then we have, okay, next question. Where the goods do not involve movement of the good. The invoice to be issued at the time. At or before the time. What is the criteria? 30 days is case of service. I'm asking about, no, I'm asking about if the movement is not involved. Yeah, remember the solar panel? Yes, I got the answer. At the time of making available or installing the good. Right? Yes, I got the answer at the time of making them available. Right? Okay. Perfect, perfect. Now, tax invoice. Next, next, you people need to answer. I'll highlight. In case of continuous supply of goods, the goods is in the way of continuous supply. Invoice to be issued. Invoice to be issued. Yes, Adil, half answer. Statement of accounts or periodical payment, whichever is earlier. Right now, statement of accounts or payment? Payment? Perfect, perfect. Okay, next question. Now, I'm hiding, right? If I send the goods to you on goods sent on approval basis, I'm sending the goods to you on approval basis. I'll issue an invoice or a delivery challan. I'll issue an invoice. Perfect. You will issue a, yes, yes. I'll issue a delivery challan. Next question. Till what time will I issue a invoice? Perfect answers I'm getting. Till what time will I issue the invoice? Yes. At the time when the goods are approved, first, at the time when the goods are approved, yes, that the supply taken place, or from the date of 6 month. Shamli, the answer is yes, from the 6 month of removal. 6 month we have to count from what date? 6 month we have to count from what date? From 6 month from the date of removal. Perfect answers. Next question. Now, the question is for supply of service. Perfect, perfect. Everyone is very good. Now, it's a case of service. It's a normal service. So, the invoice to be issued within, in case of supply, and that to normal services. Invoice to be issued within 30 days. Within 30 days, either before or at the time of provision of the service, or within 30 days from the provision of the service. But in case of NBFC, 45 days. Perfect. Okay, perfect. I have a contract with you for the supply of service, but due to some reason, we have a disassociation and the contract could not be completed. Then in case, the invoice shall be issued by, in between, yes, Adil, at the time when the cessation date, right? At the time when the service was ceased, until the value I have provided you with the service. Yani the invoice will not be of the complete value, rather it will be of the value till what the value of the service have been provided. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Next question. Continuous supply of the service. Next question. Continuous supply of service. In continuous supply of service, the supply shall be of 3 months. True or false? Minimum 3 months. True or false? It's true. I think it was exceeding. Remember? See? See? I told you yesterday also, last day also. It has to be more than 3 months. It has to be more than 3 months. Okay, perfect. Now, next question. When will the invoice be issued in that case? There were three elements. When will the invoice be issued? First, if the date of payment is mentioned, the date. Yes. If the date of payment is not mentioned, then the date when the payment was made. And the third one, if there is some kind of milestone, there is some kind of event we've already mentioned, right? Completion. Yes. Whichever is earlier. Perfect. Everyone getting it? I need to revise. Next illustration I'm not doing. Okay. हाँ भाई. If there is a supply of service between distinct person, but not all the distinct person, between banking, insurance, yes, insurance, financial institution, including NBFC, we have other telecommunication. I need to ask you, but I have mentioned it. So telecommunication or any person notified by the government, in that case, invoice must be issued. Your call. In case of distinct person of specified category, invoice must be issued. It's there on the board, though I should hide it. Invoice must be issued. Perfect. At the time of recording the entry in the books of the supplier, or before the expiry of the quarter, right now, or before the expiry of the quarter. Perfect. Okay. HSN code worldwide. It has been given by the World Customs Organization. Perfect. How many HSN codes digits are? How many digits are there in HSN code usually? How many digits are there? Perfect. 8 digits are there. Perfect. 8 digits are there. But if you are giving, yeah, if I'll say, usually mentioning of 6 HSN code is required, but we have two conditions. My aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year was 5 crore. Please remember. My aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year was 5 crore, and I'm making a B2C supply. I'm making a B2C supply. 4 digit, that too optional. Perfect. And if I'm making a B2B supply, if I'm making a B2B supply, 4 digit. Right. Okay. If my aggregate turnover in preceding financial year was exceeding 5 crore, how many digits? 6. And in both the cases, B2B also and B2C also. Perfect. Okay. My question to you, my aggregate turnover in preceding financial year is dot 5 CR. How many digit? Dot 5 CR. How many digit? Neither less, neither more. Perfect. Wonderful class. Yes, it's 4 because the word is up to 5 CR. Perfect. Next question. Bill of supply. Okay. If I'm a compo dealer, what will I issue? If I'm a compo dealer under section 10, compo means composition dealer. Yes, I'll issue a bill of supply. Perfect. If I'm a registered person and I'm giving exempted supply, then also what will I issue? Perfect. Okay. I'm a registered person. I'm issuing taxable good also, and I'm issuing exempted good also. Is there any facility given to me? I'm a registered person. I'm giving exempted good also and taxable good also. Is there any facility given to me? Yes. Name it. Name it. What can I issue? Very good. Hands off. You very good audiences, right? Yes. I can issue a invoice come bill of supply. Perfect answer. Next question. Invoice come bill of special. Okay, revised tax invoice. Now I'll ask done. I'll ask. Okay, my aggregate turnover crossed the threshold limit of 10 crore, 10 lakh, 20 lakh or 40 lakh, as the case may be, on say 1st October, and applied for registration on 20th October. In how many days I need to apply for registration? In how many days I need to apply for registration? Perfect. I need to apply for 30 within 30 days. Okay. I got the registration I get the registration certificate on 2nd November. I got the registration certificate on 2nd November. So for a time period between 1st October to the November date, what I have to issue? What I have to issue? Perfect. 2nd November. What I have to issue? Revised tax invoice. What is the motive behind issuing a revised tax invoice? What is the motive behind issuing a very good, very good, to let the recipient claim the ITC? Next question to you people. Very good, very good. Next people question to you people. In case of B2C transaction, is there any alternative available to me? In case of B2C transaction, is there any alternative available to me? I can issue that because they will not claim ITC. In the same scenario, if I am making the supply to B2C, very good, Navneet. I can issue a consolidated revised tax invoice. Very wonderful. I can issue a consolidated revised tax invoice. Next question to you people are, okay, let me hide it. Okay, next question to you people are, it is my intra-state transaction. Intra-state transaction, and the whole the transaction are B2C. Can I, my whole the transaction are B2C. Some of the transaction are exceeding 2,50,000 rupees also. So do I have to issue a separate revised tax invoice? No, in case of intrastate, you need not to. Very, very important. Yesterday, last day also I told you, and again, in case of intrastate B2C taxable transaction, irrespective of the amount, consolidated revised invoice will be issued. But I'll change the question. Now, my transaction is interstate, and that too B2C taxable supply. Now tell me, I have one supplier in the another state who've purchased 3 lakh goods from me. Tell me, I have to issue a consolidated or recipient wise? I have to issue a separate revised tax invoice. Separate revised, because the value of the supply is exceeding 250,000 rupees. And tell me other one. Now, all those interstate B2C transactions whose value is below 2,50,000 rupees, can I issue one common thing? Yes, I can issue consolidated, revised, there. Up to rupees 2,50,000, I can issue a consolidated, revised tax invoice. Did you people understood? Did you people understood? Okay, so my question to you is again, tell me, my supply is exactly 2,50,000 rupees. Exactly. I am supplying to Navneet. I'm supplying to Navneet. He is in state category 1, state 1, and I'm in state 2nd. I'm in state 2nd, and the value is exactly 2,50,000 rupees. Tell me, a separate invoice or I can consolidate? Perfect answer. You people can consolidate since the value is up to 250. Perfect. Next. Okay, next question. If perfect, perfect. You people are giving me right answers. Next question to you is, right? If you people all are unregistered recipient, and the value of good which you are taking is less than 200 rupees. Now tell me, and you do not want an invoice. Can I issue a consolidated tax invoice? Yes, I can issue a consolidated tax invoice. Perfect. Okay. Next question. Receipt voucher. If I have taken advance, what will I issue? If I've taken an advance, what will I issue? Receipt voucher. Done. This we've already. Okay. But I'll hide. You'll answer. Invoice was issued, but supply was not made. Can I issue a refund voucher? Invoice was made. See, please remember, invoice was made, but the supply was not made. No, I can't issue a refund voucher because now see, for a refund voucher, two categories are there, two criteria is there. First of all, supply should be made. Supply should not be made, and tax invoice should not be made. Both the yes, Navneet. It depends upon my conditions. Either I'll issue a credit note or I have to refund you. But usually, credit note will be given because the invoice was issued, right? Credit note will be issued. Everyone got it? If any of the criteria is missing, if any of the criteria is missing, then the refund will not be made, right? Now, refund voucher we've done. Invoice and payment voucher. Okay. Invoice and payment voucher, whenever they are together, they are for RCM. Okay. My question is directly to you people. I am getting goods from a person who's registered, but the liability to pay taxes under RCM, that is on me. I'll only issue. I'm getting a goods from a person who's registered. Yes, Prerna. I will only issue a payment voucher. I'll only issue a payment voucher. I'll not issue a invoice because he is registered. On the contrary, I am getting some services or goods, as the case may be, from a person, but the liability is under RCM. The liability, I will pay the tax. Now the point is, I am registered. In that case, I'll issue a invoice also, and I'll issue a payment voucher also. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Huh. In case of 9-4, what is 9-4? What is 9-4? In case of 9-4, what is 9-4? What is 9-4? Developer? Remember developer? Yes. Yes. Where the developers of infrastructure, that is affordable housing schemes, yeah, beta, construction services. Perfect. These people buy the goods or services that is avail, then they have to take it from registered person only. However, there is a provision, maximum 20% could be taken from unregistered person. But if it exceed 20%, then the developer need to pay tax under RCM. This was the provision. Now tell me, in case of 9-4, is the invoice issued? In case of 9-4, is the invoice issued? In case of 9-4, see, if you don't remember, just go through this. Invoice and payment. Yes, 9-4. See, invoice where the recipient is registered. Okay, the one who's taking recipient is registered, receives the supply taxable on reverse charge basis under section 9.3 and 9.4. Always remember, under 9.3, the under 9.3, the supplier can be registered as well as the supplier can be unregistered. But in 9.4, it is always supplier is unregistered. In both the case, recipient shall issue invoice within 30 days from the date of receipt of said supply of goods or service. Now remember, we did it in the last class. Now remember, under section 9.4, you'll be taking the supply from unregistered person only, because the condition itself says that you're taking the supply from unregistered person. In that case, you'll issue a payment voucher also and the invoice also. And there was a provision also in how many days the invoice to be issued. Within 30 days from the date of receipt, we need to. Somebody asked me also, ma'am, in case of service, and don't we have 45 days or something like that? Then I say no, for here it is 30 days, है ना? Within 30 days, right? Now, okay, e-invoicing. Tell me one thing now. Now this is an example for you people, right? I'll rub this out. Okay, e-invoicing means making an invoice through IRP. True or false? E-invoicing means making an invoice through invoice registration portal, IRP. True or false? Very good. No, beta. E-invoicing, please. It is like this. I'll issue an invoice. It's not uploading a invoice on the IRP is what e-invoicing is, right? False, beta. This is, you people have made a mistake. I'll explain. See, I'll issue an invoice. I'll tell. That's okay. I'll explain. See, I'll issue an invoice, as the case may be. After issuing the invoice through my software, whatever software I'm using, after issuing the invoice through my software, I'll upload certain mandatory terms in EINV01. Yes, exactly. And that too on what? Invoice notation portal. It will authenticate whether the information given by ma'am is true or false. And once it authenticate, it will give me three information. One IRN, one QR code, third digital signature. It will give me three information. Now tell me once again, I'll e-invoicing means originally in making the invoice through IRP, true or false? Once again, I'll ask. Originally, I am making bit, and now you people get it. Huh? This is the only answer which you people gave me wrong. Rather, it was completely right. Right? Yes, it is wrong. We issue the invoice. Okay. Next question to you is, while I upload EINV01 uh, with mandatory field, it is known as which what? It is known as dash. I don't want to name, otherwise you will get it. It is known as dash. What kind of dash is it? I'm not saying, otherwise you will answer. What kind of scheme it is? Giving the information to the e-invoice schema. See, there it is. ये देखो, see, अब now you are uploading the mandatory field on IRP. This whole process is known as e-invoice schema. There are standard format, and those mandatory field will be filled in GST INB1 by every kind of business transaction, right? And it is uniform all over the country. Perfect. Next question to you. If I am making e-invoice, then it might be clear, or it is for sure, that my turnover in any of the my aggregate turnover in any of the financial years since 1718 have exceeded. Yes, have exceeded 5 CR. Have exceeded 5 CR. Perfect answer. Okay. E-invoicing is applicable in case of import. True or false? It's applicable in case of import. False. It's applicable in case of export. It's applicable in case of export. True. Now it is good. Okay. Next question to you is, remember this. Okay. There is a machine language, okay, which my software will interact with the, yes, export, which is known as JSON. And the full form is JavaScript Object Notation. Everyone remember now? It is a common language used by the machines. Perfect. Okay, how many engines are there on which on IRN where the invoice can be uploaded? How many? What do you think? Give me your option. It should be more of or less of? It should be more of or less of? What do you think? Think yourself. You people are future chartered accountant. There's 10 engine right now working. What do you think? We should increase them or we should decrease them? We should increase more of, we should have more of engines. Yes, we should increase them, because there are provisions now for e-invoicing will soon be made to B2C transactions also. In that case, there will be more of number of transaction, right? So right now it's not made, but there is a proposal in this regard, right? Next question to you is exemption. Yes, we need to specify 5 category of people on which, though they are under the ambit of 5 CR, still e-invoicing is not applicable. GTA, then insurance companies, then we have banking companies, then we have NBFCs, cinematography films, then government department, local authority. Okay, I'll change. We people can write. Okay, I'm a sales developer. E-invoicing applicable or not applicable? I'm a sales developer. Yes, e-invoicing is applicable, but I'm a sales unit. I'm a sales unit. Then perfect answer. Perfect answer. Next, exemption from e-invoicing. Can commissioner, though I am liable to e-invoice, but commissioner in certain specified circumstance grant me exemption from e-invoice? Yes. But I have to declare ki though I am liable, but still. Perfect answer. Okay, cancellation. Can e-invoice be cancelled by the recipient? Think what I'm talking. Can an e-invoice be cancelled by recipient? No. Perfect, no. But a supplier? But by the supplier? But by the supplier? Yes, yes. But now the point is my e-invoice has already been made and the time limit specified has been over. Can I amend a e-invoice through IRP? Can I amend a e-invoice? No. Then where I have to amend the e-invoice? Perfect. In GST portal, GSTR1. Perfect. Only on GST portal through GSTR1, through debit note or credit note. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. E-invoicing in special cases. I'll ask some importer we have already done, right? RCM 93 e-invoicing required? Yes, 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 it is required, right? If applicable, in case of 94, in 94, in case of that developers, no, no, it's not. Eco, e-invoicing required, if applicable, right? Okay, my next question to you is I am supplying goods to government agencies and those government agencies are registered under section 51 for deducting TDS. Okay, now tell me, do I need to issue a e-invoice? Yes, I need to issue a e-invoice. Then QR code. How many kind of QR code are there? How many kind of two? Static and dynamic, right? Dynamic is okay. Let me ask to you. Dynamic is only applicable to me if my aggregate turnover exceed 500. 15 beta 500 CR. Perfect, perfect. 500. Okay. For B2C transaction, you people need to answer me. For B2C transaction, is e-invoicing compulsory? Is e-invoicing compulsory? No. But dynamic QR code, if I fulfill those limitation, then yes, dynamic QR code. Okay. What is the reason to give dynamic QR code? What is the main motive behind giving dynamic QR code to B2C transaction? Yes, digitalizing the payment. Yes, perfect answer. Digitalizing the payment. Yes. Okay, if I do mischief, yani B2C transaction, I am uploading on IRN. Sorry, I'm telling IRN on IRP. Tell me, initially it will be rejected, but I keep on doing, then it will be, initially it will be rejected, but yes, if I do it multiple time, it will be blocked. Okay, my question to you, IRN number is how many digit? IRN number is how many digit? IRN, perfect, 64 digit. Okay. Following, perfect, perfect. Following entities are not required to have dynamic QR code, even in case when the supply is made to unregistered person. Answer is same almost. Insurance, banking, GTA, passenger transportation, multiplex or OI, DAR. Okay. Dynamic QR code, done. Dynamic, okay. My question, multiplex, perfect, perfect. My question to you is, I am making a export. I am making a export. That export transaction will already have. That export transaction will already have. I'm making an export e-invoice and e-invoice dash code is already mentioned. Static code is already mentioned. So I need to put a dynamic QR code. No, I need not to put a Agla, UIN. So we'll talk about UIN also. Dynamic QR code is required to be provided on an invoice issued to a person who has been issued UIN. Since such person is not regarded as a registered person, many a times I was asked, ma'am, UIN wala. See, I'll tell you. UIN, though they get a credit, but still they are not regarded as a registered person, right? So the transaction is B2B or B2C? Yes. Anji, then the transaction is B2C. And in that, yes, now understood. Somebody was asking, I'm not remembering the name, but still, since it is a B2C transaction, Acha, Nagaraja, it is 20-second late. Wow, perfect. You will be a very good auditor for sure. You can mention the time period also. Okay. So when it is a UIN transaction, then also dynamic QR code will be mentioned. Next question. There are certain other document which could be issued in place of tax invoice. Okay. In case of insurance company, banking company, NBFC, they can give you a statement, advice, any kind of document, right, at the end of the month, and which need not to have digital signature also. You people remember? Neither the serial number, neither the address of the recipient. Remember? Right, it's not so many time asked, but still it's there in the course, it's my duty. Now in case of GTA, usually consignment note, perfect, name of the consigner, name of the consignee, registration number of the vehicle, the goods, the detail of goods to be given, right? Then in case of passenger transportation, usually we don't have any of the information as mentioned in the content of invoice, right? And there the tickets are issued. Then admission to cinematography films, there also tickets are issued, right? And in case of single screen share owners, it's their choice. They can opt also, or they can go for the invoice also, right? Delivery challan, where the supply is for, very good, where the transportation is good, of good is for other than supply, we issue a DC. We issue a DC, example for exhibition in the films. Yeah, for displaying in the exhibition for job work, we issue a delivery challan. Then we have same for the goods, 3 copies, same is the case. Perfect for proposal. In the e-way bill, we need to mention the detail of delivery challan. Perfect. And once the goods are approved, which were issued on delivery challan, then the invoice will be issued. We did all this. If the goods are sent to you in lots, then there are 4 lot. Answer. I'll just get it rid of. There are 4 lot. The original invoice will be issued. With. See, I'll issue. I'll not send. I'll issue. Yes, with the first. And the original invoice will be issued to the recipient on last. Perfect, on last. And with every truck we'll have a with every truck we'll have a copy of invoice along with the delivery challan. Perfect. Okay, section 33. It should be 32. Yes, section 32. Hanji, unauthorized collection is not possible. Until unless you are not registered, you can't collect, right? And 33 deals about what? The rate and the amount of tax should be shown separately. Right? I was asked, ma'am will be joining the class. So till she is not joining, we'll continue with the this questionnaire. Then also we are just on the verge of completion.
So,
Section
Payal, I have already joined. Sorry to interrupt you.
okay, ma'am. So I
I
have
think
done.
because you were so engrossed in taking the class, you did not realize, and that's so nice of you. And in fact, a very good evening to all the students. So I can see that students are really enjoying the class. And I also want to have, good evening, Navneet. I want to have a feedback from all of you. And plus, as I always say at the end of the class, please share the feedback in the feedback form also, because that makes a faculty encouraged with what they are doing, because they will also understand that, yes, I hope, Payal, you were done with whatever you were revising, or you want
Yes,
to continue?
yes, ma'am. I've
Okay.
done. So can I
So,
exit now?
as you wish.
Okay,
That's it.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So good evening, Shamli. Good evening, Geeta. Good evening, Adil. Okay. Am I visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Or okay, okay, because I'm not able to see it on my screen. Good evening, Tanu, Anil. Yes, Anil. After a long time, I have joined today. So I just wanted to have a feedback from all of you. Quiz kab hoga? हाँ, that I have to see. Maybe by next class we'll try to have a quiz. Okay. Thank you, Geeta. So anything you want to share regarding the class? Because I think you are enjoying the class. So here also, I just want a quick feedback from all of you. And then you can, and I will request all of you, as I always request, please share it in the feedback form also. Thank you, Kuldeep. Good evening, Muzahid. Good evening, Lingaraju. Okay, so here I am getting the feedback. So time is, Mujahid is saying he's not able to even recall of the time. He's not getting a, because he's enjoying the session so much. So he has not even felt that, I think today you didn't take the break also. So Adil is saying great lecture. Good evening, Shraddha. Gayatri is also saying enjoying, got higher level of confidence. Good, very good, Gayatri. Okay, good evening, Ashlesha. And too late YouTube. Okay, Nagaraja is saying that YouTube is actually late. So in case we will see into that, Nagaraja, because when we conduct quiz, in that case, some students who are joining from YouTube, they will find it difficult to keep a pace with us. Then that will become a mismatch. Yes, Shraddha, I'm good. And what about you all? How are you finding the classes? I hope you are revising all the topics which you are doing in the class. That revision point which we started in the first class, that we'll be revising in every class. After every class, we'll be revising. So I hope that is continuing till now. Thank you, Kuldeep. Sometimes Zoom class, not voice. Okay. In Zoom class, you find that voice is struggling. That could be, Nagaraju, because of your some network problem at your end also. So that is good that you are having YouTube class also simultaneously. So any lag is there, then you go to YouTube. Okay. So Gayatri has got much confidence with these classes. Ashlesha is saying it is a wonderful class, giving idea to follow same in study. Okay, you want to say that you are following whatever is taught in the class, you are going to follow that in the while studying the topic on your own. Fastest finger first kind of section. Okay, so that is actually making it very interesting for you all. And actually, that should be there. That when you have understood a concept, anybody asks you at whatever speed, you should be able to answer it. And actually, that keeps you charged up because you will also be very attentive during the class. And once this type of a session starts, once this type of a question answer session, rapid fire questions or the fastest finger kind of a question answer session starts, then you all get charged up, and that's the time when you get to know that yes, you have actually understood the concept. So Adil is really enjoying the class, and Thea Sumi is saying really is boosting me well. Can chat box be live in YouTube? Syed Hussain is saying in YouTube live chat option is not there, Syed, because we are actually making these classes live through the Zoom. So you have to join through Zoom. Okay, Nagaraja is finding, otherwise he's finding the class session very good. So that is good. Adil is saying, ma'am ने last 15 minutes में पूरा chapter revise करा दिया. So now I think all of you are very confident about this chapter. It takes time, it's time management to answer the question. Okay. Sumi, can you redraft your query? You want to know how to manage time while answering the questions in the exam, or this session has actually boosted your speed of answering the question? Just let me know. Muzahid is saying GST syllabus, we are gone, ma'am. Start your sessions, ma'am. Now happy live sessions. I try every concept understanding. Good, Muzahid. Very good to know that. In fact, I would be looking forward to all of you when you will be appearing for the exams and when your results will be coming, because we are expecting a lot from you all. And I hope that GST paper all of you will be able to clear with very, very good marks. Because when some students say that his fear for that particular paper has gone, that means he has actually understood the concepts and he is studying also on his own. Because not one thing is that you are attending the lectures, second thing is self study, so both of them have to go hand in hand. Then only your fear will go and your confidence will boost. So whatever we had done in the first class, that how we have to go about these classes, if you are still continuing with that, if you are just having a glance of the topic beforehand and then you are revising after going back from the class, then that will definitely help you in scoring, increasing your score for the paper. Okay, ma'am, request you to take up with CDS on expeditious dispatch of study material. Oh, Kuldeep, you had ordered the material, but you have not got it. Kuldeep, you send me a mail at idt-inter@icai.in, mentioning your registration number and when did you order the books. We'll try to follow up with the CDS department. But they are also actually trying to get it as early as possible. But sometimes when huge demand of a material is there, then there can be some lag in reaching the material. Okay, so Anil is saying he's completely fine. Anil is saying she's teaching same like you, very deeply all the concepts, and that is what we tried to ensure. So I hope you are happy with the classes. Classes are going great. Prerna is telling. Let's see. So, ma'am, before class notes upload. Okay. Actually, if you upload the notes, Nagaraja, before the class, then you will keep on, restricting yourself to that particular notes only. So, and you will, there will be no thrill element in the class. So you should know the topic, you should know the broad areas which you will be studying, but the notes which a teacher is going to teach in the class, they should be shared in the class itself, except otherwise it's questions. If it is questions, then we will try to upload it beforehand. But if it's if through the notes, because then whenever we are taking the class, we are using some notes, some PowerPoint presentations, then it goes with the flow of the class. So the teacher is explaining, also the faculty is explaining you the concept, and then it makes those notes make sense to you. So it's better if you go through those notes after the class. Okay, so Theosumi is saying speed of answering has boosted. This was what you wanted to say, Theosumi. That is what we all wanted, that your speed of answering the question should boost up. MCQ question, this will help you in MCQ, answering MCQs, because there you don't have to give any reasoning and you just have to give the answer. If your speed has increased of answering the questions, it will help in MCQs. It will help in other questions also, descriptive questions also. Though you have to mention the reasoning, but still the answer will come to you immediately. Gayatri saying, I'm January 26 batch. How can I end up? Little fear, ma'am. Okay, you are January 26. Still you have time, Gayatri. But start revising the concepts. Whatever you have done, topics you have done earlier, start revising them for January 26. You know that there will be a revisionary batch also, which will start. But whatever topics you have done thoroughly, because by now in GST you have covered all the topics thoroughly. Only few topics of module 2. After tax invoice, you will have accounts and records, then payments, TDS, TCS, e-bill. These are small chapters. And then the basic, you can say one major concept which is left is returns. So you can revise from the earlier batches, recorded lectures also, because if you want to start revision, then you can go ahead and you can see the recorded lectures, or you can go with the flow of the class, and in the meantime you can start revising the previous topics. You can attend the live virtual revisionary class also for GST. That will be starting in some time. Schedule will be there on the website. That will also help you in revising. Their main focus will be on the questions. So these live virtual revisionary class. In fact, one thing I want to share with all of you is a fortnightly program is going to be there for January 2026 examination. There, there will be faculty will be addressing your questions, your queries, how, and it will be some technical topics will be taken. If you have some technical queries, you can share in the virtual class also that you want to have these topics in the fortnightly session. These sessions will start from 11th of November. The schedule is there on the website, BOS Knowledge Portal. Please go through that. They are dedicated sessions. So for intermediate, for each paper, there will be a 2-hour session, and there will be consecutive sessions. So it will go in all the papers will go in one go. You will be having sessions for all the papers. Do attend those classes. They will be helpful to you. Those sessions. The BOS faculty will also be there, and an expert faculty from outside will also be there. They will be handling your queries. Along with that, our central council members will be apprising you of they will be giving you tips about how to study in the examination. What are the points you need to keep in mind? So Adil is telling the turnaround time for the dispatch of the study material. Others can also get a cue from that. But yes, please, you will also appreciate that since the material has just been revised, so there is a lot of demand, and that is why CDS department also takes some time to dispatch them. Please bear with us. In the meantime, you see the soft copy of the material which is available on the website, and plus the class notes also. Yes, GST notes. Today, class 2 broad, but study material small. Okay. So, study material, you want to say the class notes you are talking about? Class notes, I always say, Nagaraja, that you have to supplement them with the study material. So you go through the class notes. You can prepare your own notes also while attending the class, but sometimes some students find it difficult because they can either understand the topic or they can even otherwise write. Some students find it comfortable when they write, so they retain it more that way. It's up to your comfort level and your preference, but then you should go through the study material also. So that will give you a comprehensive understanding of the topic. Along with class notes, you should go through the study material. Earlier also, I have been asked this question many a times, that whether we can go, if we only go through the LVC notes, then will that suffice? So I always say that you have to go through questions also, you have to go through the study material concepts also along with the notes. In class, we discuss the topic, we explain the topic, but when you have to revise, you have to refer study material. Definitely, you have to refer that. Harivansh is saying for May 25, new GST rate. No, for May 20, you want to say May 26, Harivansh. GST rates, Harivansh, are not applicable for the, okay, you have corrected it after that. May 26 or any examination, GST rates will not be applicable because GST rates are outside the purview of your syllabus. In fact, I already have discussed the concept of study guidelines with you. All of you, study guidelines are hosted on the website. So as of now, these study guidelines are there for January 2026 examination, and you all are requested to refer the study guidelines. They will refer, because for May 26 there will be some or other changes, minor changes will be there, or but for you'll get an idea that these are the broad topics which are outside the scope of the syllabus of intermediate. For example, the rates of goods or services, rates of GST applicable on goods and services, then reverse charge provisions on goods, exemptions relating to goods. So these are not applicable for you. So whatever changes in rates are happening, you need not be bothered about it. This is a good news for all of you, that rate changes particularly are not applicable. But yes, whatever changes have taken place in GST 2.0, they are applicable for you for May 26 examination. For that, we will be having separate GST statutory update classes, because when we started the class, those amendments had not taken place. And if we started taking them in between, then there would have been a lot of hue and cry among all the students that we have missed out the amendments which took place in the previous classes or the topics which have already been discussed. So that is why we want to have a special focus on all those amendments, and we will be discussing those amendments at the end of the class, when your batch for GST will be at the end, or will be ending after the all the classes have been convened. Then we will be having the amendment or statutory update from 1st May 2025 to 31st October 2025. This is the cutoff date also for May 26 examination. For May 26 examination, all the amendments till 31st October are applicable for you. Yes, Kuldeep, study material is fundamental, and that is why it has been crafted with so much care, and it has been meticulously drafted in such a manner that students understand the concepts in a students friendly manner. Plus, they don't get bored also while there is no monotony while reading the study material. And I hope all of you will agree with me also, if you have gone through the study material, that it is developed in a very, very um, you know um, students friendly manner or engaging manner. You'll find it very, very engaging, because there are quiz time questions, rapid fire questions, then crosswords are there, and concepts have also been explained beautifully. First of all, statutory provisions are given to you so that you do not miss the habit of reading the bare act or rules, and then those provisions have been explained in a very simple manner, so that will help you in understanding those concepts in a very simple manner. So I hope that helps you. But today's class, broad and study materials. Okay, you are saying in today's class more concepts were discussed as compared to study material. You can, if you can tell me, Naga Raja, that what were the concepts which you find that in study material they were not discussed in detail, though in class they were discussed broadly. If you have gone through the study material, that will help me in locating that area where study material can be changed, or somebody we can all make it more comprehensive. You can tell me that area also. So I think, Nagaraja, you can write me at idt-inter@icai.in also. If you went back and you see the study material, you find some area that, yes, I need this area to be more comprehensively defined. Shraddha is asking, is there need to buy GST modules for May 26? Are there too many amendments? Shraddha, you have 25 material. Then what you can do is you can refer our statutory updates plus Finance Act 25 um, amendments, as well as the statutory update for May 26. But if you are finding it difficult to collate all the amendments and then read with the earlier material, it is advisable that you purchase the new material. But then also statutory update for May 26 examination, you have to refer, because most of those amendments came after the release of the material. Yes, section 34 you are saying. Okay, section 34 debit and credit notes. Okay, you are saying that it's in paragraph form there, and ma'am has it. That is why these classes are there. So they are complementing wherever you find that yes, this concept is not that engaging, then classes supplement to that point. So yes, with that point, I will take note of it, that credit note and debit notes have to be. We have an summary also given at the end of the debit and credit note. That also gives a point wise summary of the material. But yes, that will definitely be taken care of. So with this, I think we can come to the end of the session. I hope all your queries, all your feedback is over. Okay. Thank you, Mujahid. Thank you, Shraddha. Um, thank you everyone for attending the class, and chapter 10 cover. Yes, Kuldeep. We'll try to have a quiz next time. So Manish, class end kar dijiye.